And now you've got Texas Governor Greg Abbott saying the entire Mexico-Texas border, they're having about 150 people show up a day. I mean, it is night and day. People can see that. They can hear those numbers. It's quantified for them, and they get that there has been a massive change there. So that's measurable. And so people see that progress. What's not as measurable for them just yet is the economy. But I think people realize, okay, in a month, not all the problems are going to be solved. But I do expect to feel better later this year. And I'm going to give this administration a little bit of time to try to figure this out. But we all know that the current administration will pay the price if the economy, if inflation, if those things don't really start to turn it around in a way that people can feel it.
Part of the complaints, I think, from the Democrats about the cost cutting is just how broad and how fast and how, unsubtle it is. Like, for example, the Clinton administration, by the time he was done, the federal workforce was like 20% or something like that smaller, but it was done in a very different way. It was done, there were some layoffs, but it was mostly attrition, and they just let people go and didn't replace them over the course of years. So it is something that's been done before, just in a different way.
Right. And you are actually hearing a few Republicans saying, whoa. We're making decisions that really do affect people's lives. You talk about some chaotic situations with different agencies. You know, I had Senator Tim Kaine on Fox News Sunday last week, represents Virginia, and he talked about how there's such a heavy military and veteran presence in Virginia, and yet there were VA hospitals that are scheduled to open, these clinics in places that I think everybody agrees, okay, we want money going for that. We want money for treating our veterans for mental and physical health and whatever they need, but that they were sort of on pause because of funding and job cuts. They couldn't figure out what to do. So there are Republicans along with Democrats who were worried about those kinds of things, that there is a real world impact when you don't do this with a precision scalpel versus, a hammer. And so I think you're going to hear more of those conversations. And even when you talk about USAID, turning off that spigot of foreign spending, because a lot of Americans want to know exactly where that money's going. And when they hear some of the examples, they're like, no way am I going to work so we can pay for that kind of stuff. But you heard Secretary Rubio, he has said, listen, where this is life-saving, medical food issues, those kinds of things, we are making sure those payments are happening. But people in those agencies are publicly speaking out and saying they're not. We're actually having to turn people away from these life and death situations because there's such confusion and chaos over this spending. So while it is encouraging to a lot of American people to see DOJ saying, oh, we've already found you $50 billion in waste, fraud, and abuse, there's the real life impact of it too that really worries people, Democrats and Republicans, about the end of the line result with these big cuts.
One thing we maybe could have seen coming is this throwdown with the president of Ukraine. So the other day, President Volodymyr Zelensky said that President Trump was being influenced by and spreading Russian disinformation, saying Ukraine started the war, calling Zelensky a dictator, et cetera, et cetera. Now, of course, it's been off to the races with Trump going after Zelensky, saying, hey, this guy's terrible. We need new elections. He's a dictator. He let the war happen. Now, there are some big Ukraine supporters in Congress who, but at this point, they may not be enough to influence much of the process.
Yeah, and I wonder, there's part of me that wonders how much of this public takedown of Zelensky is posturing for Putin, because that's who the Trump administration is currently at the table with, is Putin. So we go out there, we rough up Zelensky, Putin feels more comfortable, you get more out of him. I don't know if that's part of the calculus that they have right now, but it's a guy that they didn't think, the Russians thought they would take Kyiv in 3 days and the thing would be over. The fact that he survived 3 years is a bit of a miracle, but President Trump, publicly saying, well, it's because you played President Biden like a fiddle and took all this money. Now it is time to settle this thing and get it done. It does feed into the criticism that President Trump's detractors have about him being too cozy with Putin and favoring him and really crushing a lot of the negotiating power or leverage Ukraine might have had in this situation. So I don't know how much different the conversation is behind closed doors, but I often wonder the public statements, how much they're aimed at something different than what they might be at face value at first blush.
Shannon Bream is the anchor of Fox News Sunday. You can also listen to her podcast, Living the Bream. Thanks, Shannon.
Thank you, Chris.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and newstalkstl.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available.
The Allman Report.
Hey, Friday on the Allman Report, it's a fancy one. Doug Giles is back after his big illness. Coming up on the Allman Report on News Talk STL.
Jamie Allman. Weeknights at 8 on News Talk STL.
Hey there, Chris Cooper here, Serenity Wealth Management. Have you noticed? It is tax season. We're getting all kinds of wonderful pieces in the mail every single day telling us exactly what piece of fair share we get to give of our money for 2024. Well, folks, I want to tell you, it is time to turn the page on 24 and move on to 2025 and beyond. How can we take more control of our financial future? Eliminate some of the government partnership we might have in our retirement plans. That is the subject of my upcoming workshop, Tax Freedom in Retirement. Folks, it's important. We want to try to cut the cord with the IRS. So join us. We have 2 nights to choose from. February 27th, which is a Thursday, or Tuesday, March the 4th at Liliana's Italian Kitchen in Cottleville. Visit our website for more information, SerenityWealthNow.com. That's SerenityWealthNow.com. Check out our events page.
Register at SerenityWealthNow.com. That's SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.
Dr. Randy Tobler here, and I know that when you're looking for a dentist, you have to make sure you choose a dental practice that's compatible with you and the needs of your family. Well, I'd like to tell you about my dentist, Dr. Dan Cusimano, and his partner, Megan Dwyer, and their team at Advanced Dentistry at St. Charles. The great team at Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles can accommodate all of your cosmetic and restorative needs because their passion is general dentistry. Implants, crowns, bridges, even dentures. That what you need the most is what they'll provide in a personalized, focused way. And they can provide therapeutic and cosmetic options like Botox and dermal fillers. Get to know them and all they have to offer by calling 636-978-0226 or visit them on the web at advanceddentistrynow.com. That's Dr. Daniel Cusimano and Dr. Megan Dwyer at Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles.
That's Advanced Dentistry Now, 636-978-0226. Or visit them on the web at advanceddentistrynow.com.
Because truth matters.
Let's speak that truth.
Because understanding matters.
Let's break this down.
With all that's happening.
And it's happening a lot faster.
What matters most is
the only question that matters here.
Are you informed?
Important issues that are facing this country.
Depend on us.
The latest events.
The information you need.
Here are the facts.
When you need it.
We always have great conversations.
You guys have a great radio station.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
And first-hand perspectives.
Described as pure evil. That's a good description.
The Fox Nation Investigates podcast, Evil Next Door. Follow and listen starting February 25th at foxtruecrime.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. News Rundown.
Good morning. It's Friday, February 21st. I'm Chris DeMaio, and this is the Fox News Rundown. President Trump's pick to run the FBI has been confirmed in a 51-49 vote, with 2 Republican senators voting against his nomination. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has more.
Kash Patel was confirmed as the next director of the FBI. Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune said on the Senate floor ahead of the vote, Patel will root out politics in the agency.
I'm encouraged that Mr. Patel has the support of the National Police Association, the National Sheriff's Association, and multiple state attorneys general, all of whom will be his partners in law enforcement.
Democrats, like California Senator Adam Schiff, warned this confirmation will backfire.
Kash Patel is Donald Trump's hand-picked enabler and henchman. The guy who would say yes when everyone else would say no.
Separately, a Senate committee voted to advance Linda McMahon for Education Secretary to a full Senate vote. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
It's been a frenzied first month in office for President Trump. The president signing a string of executive orders and making significant budget and staffing cuts across the government. Texas Senator Ted Cruz tells Fox's Hannity he likes what's been done by the president and Elon Musk.
The work Elon Musk is doing and alongside Donald Trump is extraordinary, and they're delivering. President Trump is delivering on the promises made to the voters.
The president's first month in office was also met with stiff opposition from Democrats on many of his executive orders around immigration and DOJ's access to sensitive information. I'm Chris DeMaio. This is the Fox News Rundown.
This is the Fox News Rundown.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1 and newstalkstl.com. Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
We'll speak with Congressman Bob Onder on one big, beautiful bill. And at 5:20, Dr. Aaron Hudlin on getting rid of Missouri's income tax.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
I can tell you how to get a free quick quiz to see how artificial intelligence can boost your company's potential. You go to priglobal.ai, priglobal.ai. St. Louis Business Magazine listing PRI as one of the leading IT companies, and PRI has its own AI lab to develop what your business needs. priglobal.ai, priglobal.ai.
At Elite Comfort Experts, they don't believe in gimmicks, just guarantees. And now they're teaming up with Amana Heating and Air Conditioning to bring you a 99-year compressor and heat exchange warranty and a 10-year parts and labor warranty on a high new efficiency HVAC system. This exclusive offer is available on qualifying systems installed before April 15th. Choose integrity and quality. Choose Elite Comfort Experts. Call Elite at 636-887-0971 or visit EliteComfortExperts.com. Mention the promo code NewsTalkSTL.
Tony Colombo here for the Farmers Co-op Old Town Country Store in Old Town St. Peters, where they have a huge selection of products and services for your yard and home, including a full line of lawn and garden products, a full line of products for animal care, and that includes anything from livestock to the family dog or cat. They'll fill any size propane tank for about half the price of a new one, and so much more. Visit them in St. Peters on 2nd Street, right behind the QT at 70 and Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, and check out all their products and services at oldtowncountrystore.com.
To our brave police officers and first responders, we say thank you for risking your lives to protect us. To all the incredible volunteers who've joined hands with the David Dorn Foundation to raise funds for equipment and services, we extend our heartfelt gratitude. We stand strong with our volunteers who give their time, talent, and dedication as a shield of support for those who rush into danger. The David Dorn Foundation gives a big thank you from our heart to yours. Visit dornfoundation.com and join as a volunteer.
The O'Reilly Update, brought to you by Seavers JCB. Visit them at their St. Peters location.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, unfortunately, there's a serious threat to your home. It's called title fraud. Criminals forge a document, file it, just like that, your title is stolen. They can even take out loans against your property. That's why I'm urging you to use Home Title Lock. They provide 24/7 monitoring, alerts, and restoration of your title if fraud occurs. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code BILL25 for 25% off their protection plans. That's HomeTitleLock.com, code BILL25. On this Friday, as everyone knows, political hatred is growing in the USA. Donald Trump, of course, is a magnet for it. Joe Biden, no slouch either. Both these men are easy targets. But that is not good for the country. That is why Stephen A. Smith, Chris Cuomo, and me, your humble correspondent, are going on the road with the Three Americans tour. Never been done before. Three vastly different guys talking about life in the USA. That means three different audiences will be in attendance. And that ensures the live presentation on stage will be lively. And we hope funny as well. I hope we can demonstrate that different points of view and experiences in life are worth considering by everybody. No choir practice here. You can expect the unpredictable. A games will have to be on display. This is going to be a very, very vigorous debate. But again, good-natured. So we hope you check us out. BillO'Reilly.com is all the information. March 30th, Westbury Theater, Long Island, is the first show. And if it goes well, we may be rolling into your town. And you can't stop us. Back in a moment. Ivermectin. It's a name you've heard before, but getting access can be a hassle. That's why you need to check out All Family Pharmacy. They're a licensed pharmacy in Florida, providing ivermectin and other hard-to-get meds. They take care of the prescription and ship it right to your door. You can even stock up in bulk. Please visit allfamilypharmacy.com/bill. Use code BILL10 for 10% off. Be proactive. Being prepared isn't just a luxury anymore. It's a necessity. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. Another frigid night, but light winds, so no significant wind chill in the morning, but a low down to 5 degrees. Outlying areas obviously a little colder, but it will warm up. We'll be in the upper 20s in the afternoon. That's still cold, but it is warmer at least. Mostly sunny skies and a high of 28. Sunny skies on Saturday, and the warm-up really kicks in. A high of 40 degrees, our first above freezing day in 7 days by Saturday. And then Sunday, partly to mostly sunny and a high of 52 degrees. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
And then the media.
1019 and 94.1.
They lying about what's going on in America. They lying about it.
News Talk STL. Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Having your first cup of coffee? Mike's on his third. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Okay, it's cold, but at least it's not as bad as it was a day or two ago, and it's going to be pretty nice temperature-wise by the end of the weekend at least. So there's something to look forward to as we head into the weekend, right? Hey, good morning. I'm Mike Ferguson on this Flashback Friday. A little bit later on today, Gabe's got Not Today Satan. And so, we're going to take kind of an intense week. And we're going to bring you up to date, but let's decompress and have some fun throughout the morning here, okay? All right, 314-912-1019. That's how to be involved in the program most directly as usual. Okay, so what's the real story with the Donald and with Elon? Well, we chatted with Christian Datoc from the Washington Examiner on Thursday's program. I mean, he's there, he's covering it. Really good insights, and here are the observations that he gave us.
And Christian, I mean, I got to say, on one hand, we're getting 10 different stories if you look at 10 different sources on what's really happening with Elon Musk, Doge, and Donald Trump. And at the same time, I'm tired of hearing about Elon Musk and Doge and Donald Trump. I just want to get to the actual policy stuff and when are my taxes going to go down and when am I going to stop funding stuff I don't want. But what's the real story on Donald and Elon's kind of buddyship? And I know that a lot of people look at this as kind of a cartoonish sort of, celebrity type of story, but we're talking about major areas of policy and spending and transparency right now. So the TMZ style of questions people are trying to push really are crossing over into an area where billions or trillions of dollars are actually at stake.
I think the real story is different depending on who you ask in Washington. And I wrote a story earlier this week speaking specifically to Republican strategists, not Democrats, not lawmakers, but Republican strategists, people who are plugged into this White House and helping to move along the vehicle that is the Trump agenda, and included in that is cutting all of this federal waste and alleged fraudulent spending. And let's be honest, the Republicans are split. Some people think that what's happening right now with Donald Trump and with Elon Musk is fine. I would say about 60% of the folks I talk to say that, Trump is using Elon Musk as essentially a shield. He's a lightning rod drawing all of the critiques, the criticisms, the scrutiny while the administration carries out this agenda against waste. It's kind of brilliant. But on the other side of this question, you have Republicans who are very worried that Donald Trump might push out Musk sooner than his temporary government employee contract allows later this spring, simply because the president, is a star, and how many stars is there room for on the stage of the White House? I mean, I think one of Donald Trump's greatest strengths is his ability to control the narrative. And his primary vehicle for doing that is just simply answering every single question reporters throw at him and shifting it back to either an answer or a subject that he wants to talk about. It's impossible for him to control the narrative if Elon Musk is now fielding more of the questions than the president himself. So it's a little bit of a tricky palace intrigue story, but I think ultimately the focus that is on Doge right now just sort of speaks to the speed and the breadth of this inquiry, the audits into the entire federal budget, essentially.
Morning, Christian. Gabe Pfeiffer here. So, for those of us who didn't catch that joint interview with Hannity, could you kind of sum up what impression you got from what that broship kind of looks like, and how they address, I guess, some of the controversies about the relationship?
Gabe, I'm not sure how old you are, but I'm a millennial, and one of my favorite movies in high school was Step Brothers.
Yeah,
with Will Ferrell.
Did we just become best friends?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's really sort of what that interview felt like. Donald Trump and Elon Musk were sort of riffing off of each other, making fun of the idea that, there's some bad blood brewing between them, or Elon is really the shadow president, something like that. But, you take a step back and it's pretty clear that this was a concise attempt at damage control on this narrative that's prevalent in the media right now. They wanted to show that, we're doing this arm in arm. We are totally on the same page. There is no ill will. And, we're laughing at the haters, for lack of a better term. I do think it's a little bit of a stretch to call it an interview. It was basically Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Sean Hannity just hanging out and being bros. But it did sort of illustrate that the president and Musk are in this together. at least for the foreseeable future. Now, I will say earlier on Tuesday, ahead of this pre-taped interview running on Fox, Donald Trump sort of made an announcement that caught some of us off guard. He essentially said, look, Elon Musk is not actually the administrator of Doge. He's, more of a consultant. So that sort of raised the question, why, one, why say this if you're not trying to minimize Elon Musk's relevance or power? And then two, who actually is running Doge if Elon isn't the head or the administrator or the chair or whatever you might call it? So on one hand, Donald Trump sort of brushed back some of these rumors. He kind of kicked off another hornet's nest with his comments from earlier in the day.
And there have been some disagreements between the two. I mean, you go back to, for instance, the open AI announcement, and Musk wasn't completely on board. At the very least, he was very skeptical, whereas Donald Trump's on board. And of course, to a lot of people, the idea of nuance, that you can agree on most things and disagree on some others, is kind of antithetical to the way we approach our politics and our policy these days. But they haven't been in lockstep. But clearly, they're being a bro team, as well, which, and Donald Trump, like you said, he likes the celebrity aspect of it. I think it's why he picks some of the people that he picks for positions, because he likes the celebrity, culture aspect of it, as long as he's king celebrity. But with Elon Musk, I mean, it's not like they've agreed on everything, and it's not like Elon Musk really needs the money from whatever this gig is.
He certainly doesn't need the money. And I agree. I think some, healthy disagreement within any administration is important. We shouldn't be falling victim to groupthink, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. You need competing opinions to sort of drive policy forward. That being said, Musk's sort of aversion to this open AI deal raises questions about, his obvious conflicts of interest. He is involved in the AI space. Mm-hmm. He, of course, has, billions in government contracts when it comes to his SpaceX 4 days with NASA. And so we haven't quite seen Musk have to recuse himself from any of these cases. It's going to be a topic of hot consternation whenever Doge sets its eyes on NASA. But I think one thing that is important is you look to what Doge is preparing to do in regard to the Pentagon. That's in consort with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, outlining his plan to shrink the defense budget by roughly 40% over the next decade. It's going to be coming in, increments of around 8%, according to his rubric. And I think even Democrats, or some of the harshest Trump critics, will have to say this particular aspect of the audits makes it seem like, okay, this isn't some type of fascistic power grab. They are serious about addressing the deficit, addressing federal waste. So, we should let them carry this out. Now, I will say, I think, in my opinion, it would have been smart to lead with that, to lead with auditing the Pentagon and then sort of working your way down to some of this lower hanging fruit, be it at USAID or the EPA or anything like that, instead of attacking the groups that liberals in particular are up in arms about. But this is very early in the process. We've got to see how this plays out. And I suspect, unfortunately for you guys, this is not going to be the last time we're talking about Doge for the foreseeable future.
Now, are there fair questions regarding whether or not Elon Musk is being brought in to do too much? I mean, he's met with some other world leaders, along with Trump, obviously taking questions in the Oval Office, whereas even other directors and secretaries aren't doing that sort of thing. So at some point, is it fair for media, even the leftist media, to ask some questions about whether or not there is actually a lane for Elon Musk to stay in?
I think it's always fair to be asking questions of our federal government and how its employees are operating, whether they are elected or not. I mean, let's be honest, Musk and everyone who joined up with the Trump administration knew what came with the job. This is not unfamiliar territory for the majority of them, having either served in the first Trump administration or being around politics throughout their career. And again, whether you're a conservative, whether you're a liberal, if you are in the media, it should be your fundamental duty to taxpayers, to voters, to just everyday American citizens to shine a light on what's happening in Washington. So I welcome questions of of this administration. I welcomed questions of the Biden administration. If the press isn't asking questions, what's the point of even being there in the room, right? We're not propaganda. We should be contrarian and questioning everything the government is doing because, again, they're doing it with taxpayer dollars. So if your elected representatives aren't looking out for your interests, I hope the American voters might be able to restore a little bit of faith in the media to try and fight for them, or at least try and shine a light on what's really happening inside the Beltway here in D.C.
Good morning, Christian. Stal Ponticus here. Quick question for you. Since you mentioned the press corps and everything going on at the White House, what are your thoughts about Caroline Leavitt?
It is still early, but I would have to say Caroline has been extremely impressive. I mean, I worked with her when she was a White House press assistant during the first Trump administration, and I don't think anyone would have predicted how quickly she seems to have grown into this role. I mean, a lot can happen over the last 4 years. She, of course, ran for Congress and then worked on the Trump campaign as campaign press secretary. But she truly does seem like, she was the right person for this job. And especially when you compare it to Karine Jean-Pierre, who, let's be honest, was not the right person for that role. And I do feel bad because I think she is genuinely behind closed doors, a nice person. She tries to be an honest person. And because of her demeanor, the Biden administration essentially siloed her away from information so that she couldn't try and wiggle her way out of answers. She was just forced to say, hey, I haven't talked to the president about that, or I'm not read into this issue, so I can't answer the question. It made her seem like she wasn't, invited to sit at the big kids table. And I think ultimately that sort of doomed her tenure as press secretary from the get-go. But again, flash forward to Caroline, she's clearly party to these high-level conversations. She seems prepped. She seems prepared. I will say the Trump administration hasn't had to deal with a real crisis yet, so her performance might change in the future. But at least in this first month, I think she's done a tremendous job at promoting the administration line and doing so in a way where she can still give information to the press, even if it's a hostile line of questioning. So no notes for me for Caroline.
Okay, got it. And there's no hostile questioning of a Republican president in the White House press. That doesn't happen. No. All right, Christian, people want to connect with your coverage of the Trump administration, of what's happening in Washington, D.C. The way to do it on the web, social media, what's the best way?
You can read me at WashingtonExaminer.com, and then I'm at Talk Radio on every social media platform, POC Radio.
All right, your 80s bump music request all morning long here. That's coming your way. Thank you in advance for all of those. And, of course, we're going to have Gabe with Not Today, Satan right around 7:50. All right, got some thoughts on the news or anything else we're talking about? Send me those notes on social media. Give me a call, 314-912-1019. This is 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Download the News Talk STL app.
Love the News Talk STL app.
On my way to work in the morning.
Usually I'm in the car.
I listen on the app in my car every morning going to work.
Download the News Talk STL app and listen anytime, anywhere.
Tired of floors that don't stand up to real life? Hometown Floors has the solution. With 40 years of experience, they know floors. 100% made in the USA. Luxury vinyl, laminate carpet, pet-friendly, and built to last. Free in-home estimates, professional installation, and satisfaction guaranteed. Hometown Floors, making small business great again. Check us out at hometownfloorsonline.com.
Hungry for the best steak you'll ever have?
Head to the heart of Moscow Mills and discover Harry J's, a local landmark and family-owned steakhouse, serving up excellence since '98. From mouth-watering appetizers to decadent desserts, Harry J's has something for everyone. Enjoy our extensive bar selection while soaking in our friendly family atmosphere. Whether dine-in or carry-out, your meal is prepared to perfection. Make the drive to 300 Main Street and treat yourself to a taste of Moscow Mills' finest. Harry J's, more than a steakhouse. We're a tradition.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Bunny Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the Sabos radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Bunny Radio 3 times every week yet on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeBunnyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where are the beat?
It's Flashback Friday.
I didn't have this one on my bingo card for today.
You can enjoy the intro here.
That's right.
Aces High from Iron Maiden.
Yeah. You know what? 5:52 in the morning is not too early for Iron Maiden. I agree. I agree with whoever sent this one in.
Had a couple requests for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice. Oh, man. All right. Delta is offering their formerly inverted passengers to Toronto an upfront check.
Okay.
So here's the question. Would you take it?
I don't know. Are there strings attached?
Well, that's Delta says no, but they really want them to take those checks. This is interesting here.
See, my suspicion is you take the check and then they don't have any liability.
That's what I would worry about as well. I'll give you what details we have here in just a second. And that's the question I've got. Would you actually take that check? So it is now 5:53 on this Flashback Friday. Don't forget, we've got great, fantastic conservative talk all weekend long, including American Viewpoints with me. That's right. Sunday morning at 6 o'clock, my syndicated show airs right here on News Talk STL. It's kind of funny because I put in those, kind of promotions of all these great weekend shows, and it dawned on me this morning. I'm like, I don't think I bothered to tell anybody that I have a show here on the weekends.
No, you just kind of make a cursory comment every once in a while. Yeah, American Viewpoints is on the weekend.
Right, yeah.
You could even tease who the guest is if you wanted to.
I could do that. I've got some, like, for instance, Ryan Young from Competitive Enterprise Institute.
Yeah.
Taking a very non-political, nonpartisan look at the approach that tariffs are being used in as far as like negotiation. So we get into the depths of that just a little bit there as well. That's one of the discussions. I can tell you that whether you are pro-tariff and on Donald Trump's side or anti-tariff and not on Donald Trump's side, there's going to be something that Ryan says that's probably going to ruffle your feathers. So everybody's going to have something to think about and challenge on that. And I asked him about, okay, but wait a minute, here's the claim that's being made, on everything. So it's a pretty well-rounded discussion. Okay, so what would it take for you to say, you know what, we're cool. Don't worry about that whole, endangering my life thing. So Delta is offering their formerly upside down passengers $30,000, but they say it comes with no strings attached. That's what they're saying. They're saying, listen, up front, we're so sorry about this. Here's a check for $30,000. Remember, 21 of the 79 people on board were hurt. Nobody was hurt critically, thank goodness. But there basically would be, I don't know, $2 million in all if every one of the 76 people on board took the check. I got to tell you, I would say, you know what? I'm going to contact a lawyer and have them read this whole thing.
You betcha.
Before I touch that check.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically Delta is trying to say, it's just good faith. We're just, we know that this is on us and we're trying to give, you probably got expenses. So here you go. And if they're truly just trying to do the right thing, knowing they're going to get sued into oblivion, okay, well, that's one thing that might show some good faith, might be good strategy, but I would not rush to grab that check and cash it without having a lawyer, maybe two, look that thing over.
Not at all. I would agree. You just can't take that chance.
No.
And I imagine that the lawyerese on that piece of paper will be tough to go through because you're going to be reading everything in there and figuring, oh, okay, I guess they don't want to take care of. What if you've got hospital expenses? If you're one of the seriously injured people?
Yeah, because there were some people that did get hurt on that. I mean, I can't believe that more people weren't hurt bad on something like that. And by the way, is it weird that we don't know a thing about the crew or the pilots yet?
I thought about that too.
Really weird. I mean, I've seen all sorts of accusations on social media and I can't confirm any of them. So I have no idea who and what the passengers and the crew were like. I just have no idea. I've seen all kinds of accusations, like I said, but I haven't seen anything confirmed that we can go with. But I think it's weird that there's nothing so far. And this happened, Monday or Tuesday, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so this has happened to the point where somebody knows what happened. It was apparently clearly pilot error. But the fact that nobody's hurt has actually resulted in some, like The Onion had a pretty funny story. Did you see this?
No.
They had a picture of a Delta jet with a great big crane on the drive or the runway with a string and a tennis ball. It's like Delta puts tennis ball target for female pilots.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh goodness. Wow.
Like the ball you would put in your garage.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can only get away with that, because nobody was hurt. But the thing is that I've heard accusations saying, this was run by Endeavor Airlines and they're all female. And I don't know if that's the case or not. I've seen the accusations, but before you say, aha, that's what happens when you have women drivers. We don't know that that's what happened at all. So weird situation, but yeah, get thee to a lawyer first before you take that check.
Nate Lucas here for the Village Bar in the heart of Des Peres. Since 1948, the Village Bar has been the go-to destination for delicious food, cold drinks, and unbeatable atmosphere. Savor their famous wings, burgers, and onion rings, or grab a drink from their fully stocked bar. Catch all the big games and enjoy the company of their friendly staff. Plus, don't miss the 1879 Distillery, a one-of-a-kind experience right next door. The Village Bar offers the best value in town. Find the Village Bar on Facebook and come experience where history meets great times. You'll be glad you did.
Seavers JCB, a trusted leader in agriculture and construction. Connect with SeaversJCB.com and browse their inventory or stop by and let them show you the capabilities of the JCB lineup. Telebooms, skid steers, loaders, forklifts, excavators, backhoes, and more. JCB has pushed diesel to its limits with machines that now emit 50% less CO2. JCB's new Icon software system will blow your mind, offering iConfigure, iConnect, and iControl. Learn more at SeaversJCB.com.
Hey, Tim Jones here with a reminder. Winter is the perfect time to obtain an expert evaluation of all your trees, shrubs, your biggest assets for safety, health, or maybe even removal. Hanson's Tree Service, locally owned and operated, not only can consult with you on the exact services you need, but during the winter months, you might even save more money. Keep their emergency number handy in case you need it. Emergency removal anytime over the winter months. Hanson's Tree Service, 636-379-1830, hansonstree.com. That's hansonstree.com.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Speaker Tim Jones, whoosh my speaker.
Why do the men and women who sacrificed and died for this country get one day each year, and those who have to tell us what their sexuality is get an entire month?
So instead of MAGA, they can be MAFA. Make America fabulous again.
Vic Porcelli, live and local weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. KLDY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Wielding a chainsaw, Doge chief Elon Musk taking the stage, making a dramatic entrance at the Conservative Political Action Conference, National Harbor, Maryland. Musk emphasizing the mission of the Department of Government Efficiency to take a chainsaw instead of a scalpel to government waste, fraud, and abuse. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller delivering what he calls a brief civics lesson to the White House press corps, noting the president is elected by the whole of the American people. Miller says the Constitution states the executive power shall be vested in a president.
What President Trump is doing is he is removing federal bureaucrats who are defying democracy by failing to implement his lawful orders, which are the will of the whole American people.
Miller also touting a 95% reduction in monthly illegal border crossings since President Trump returned to the White House.
Marking 1 month in office, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt claimed an historic start to the second Trump administration.
The president has already signed 73 executive orders. That is more than double the number signed by Joe Biden.
Among the signed executive orders are efforts to eliminate birthright citizenship, gain more presidential control over the federal bureaucracy and workforce, and eliminate diversity measures. Some of the actions face legal challenges. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Israel says a body, supposedly that of an Israeli hostage returned by Hamas, was not that of an Israeli mother of 2 young boys, as claimed by Hamas. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calls it a cruel and malicious violation of the Gaza ceasefire, and he says it will be avenged. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures are up 44 points, Nasdaq futures 21 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
We talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Today into this weekend, the weather scales finally tip in our favor as a warming trend kicks into gear. But first, another frigid morning. Yep, sunny skies will help us jump, though, to a high of 28 this afternoon. That's 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. Let's keep it going, shall we? Lows in the teens tonight, but then up to 40 Saturday afternoon and mostly sunny. 53 on Sunday and 60 on Monday. From deep winter cold to a spring preview. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Piccadilly Palace, located in Union, Missouri. The ultimate family fun center is Piccadilly Palace. Call 314-860-6418 or visit piccadillypalace.com.
Whether you're a saltwater fish fanatic, reptile enthusiast, or looking for small animal supplies, Lynn's Pets has it all. From feeder insects to exotic birds, we got you covered. Meet Kevin of RC, our passionate experts who don't just sell pets, they educate and care. One same-day delivery and personalized service, we live for it. Big chain stores, forget about it. At Lynn's Pets, we save you money and provide top-notch service. Lynn's Pets in the heart of Lynn'sville. Call 636-327-7700 or find us on Facebook.
I'm Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey, and I'm excited to invite you to State Lincoln Days in St. Louis, Missouri, this March 7th through 9th. Go online and get tickets today at missouri.gop and join us for food, fun, and fellowship, where you can hear from conservative leaders from across the state, special guest speakers you won't hear anywhere else. It's a new day in Missouri, a new day in America, and we're excited to join together at State Lincoln Day in St. Louis, Missouri, this March 7th through 9th.
Get your tickets today at mogop.org.
Paid for by the Missouri Republican Party. Jennifer Finch, Treasurer.
News, analysis, opinion.
1,500 U.S. troops to the U.S.-Mexico border.
President Donald Trump threatening 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada.
Everything will be revealed. 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
We the people.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
It's not rocket science. Rocket science.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up! Get up! Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Good morning to the people of St. Louis.
It's Friday.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. And it's going to be a warm weekend.
It is.
Get up there, thaw out, wash the car, but don't do the expensive car wash because there's still a bunch of grime everywhere. But, driving in this morning, I went to do the windshield thing, and apparently it was still too cold. I've got a little bit of ice cover in the so I'm doing the thing where I'm looking all over my steering wheel just to get here into work here today. All right, a lot going on. Cash gets the gig.
Yay.
Which means Katie bar the door.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. And there is a new and a bizarre accusation against the St. Louis City Sheriff.
Okay.
This is in addition to the other investigation that's happening with it.
There's kind of a big drama saga thing going on with that whole
weird
area.
I mean, weird.
All right.
Also, boy, that hockey game didn't go the way we wanted, eh?
No. I see what you did there. That's actually the proper use of A.
Hey. All right. And I've added some new descriptors when I lead into that story as well.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
More than maple syrup?
Yeah, I do have the maple syrup on there. That seemed to be popular.
Yeah.
But
like
I've added a couple. I've added a couple others too.
All right, let's go.
All right. It is 6:06 right now. Let's dump some news on you.
The morning news dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks. The morning news dump.
All right, here's something that we talked about yesterday, and we got an update for you. The Missouri House approves a bill to put the St. Louis police back under state oversight. So that bill is now halfway to the finish line. The plan now heads to the state Senate. Governor Mike Kehoe supports that proposal. So if approved, a 5-person board of commissioners, including one appointed by the governor, would oversee the department. Now, keep in mind that historically, when I say historically, I'm talking going back to the mid-1800s, St. Louis police has been under state oversight until voters gave the city a chance at local control when they voted in 2012 to change that. And clearly it's been a failure.
Right. Exactly.
So when somebody says, I can't believe you would take away state control. Well, this is the abnormal. The historic normal is that the state would oversee the department.
Exactly.
Right. All right. Get the popcorn out.
Mm-hmm.
Things are about to get very interesting now. The President Trump's pick to lead the FBI actually gets the gig. Here's the story.
The yeas are 51. The nays are 49. The confirmation is confirmed.
By a vote of 51 to 49, Patel was confirmed and inherits an agency in turmoil after what critics say was a weaponization of the FBI under President Biden. Patel, a noted Trump loyalist, is expected to demand accountability for any who violated the law in pursuit of Donald Trump or his supporters. He's also expected to reduce the FBI's footprint in D.C. and return to its traditional law enforcement role, tracking down criminals nationwide. Bob Agnew reporting.
And Kash Patel is going to be sworn in, and he actually goes onto the payroll sometime today, probably later on this morning.
I'm excited for what is to come.
Well, if you're one of those who says, I want to see disruptors, and you use that word, you got your guy.
He's absolutely a disruptor.
Yeah, this is going to be, I can't believe that Distel has not like jumped all over this conversation yet. You're like chomping at the bit.
I've got fireworks going off inside of me.
I bet you do.
You just try to contain it over there.
Yeah.
I was celebrating yesterday, especially when the final numbers came down, and I kind of expected 51-49. Folks don't realize that Kash went through a lot of this stuff himself personally, getting the lawfare and getting accusations against him. So I'm not saying that he's going to flip the table and do exactly the same thing, but don't be surprised.
Oh, yeah.
You might see a little bit, but they're going to look at it as, justice needs to be served. It's not revenge. It's like, you guys thought you were going to get away with this? I don't think so. Let's see what happens.
But there's probably going to be a little revenge served up.
Underneath, I think so.
I think there's going to be some of that.
Well, there's got to be. I mean, here's the thing. If somebody does you wrong, and they do wrong while doing you wrong. If you catch my drift, like they do something illegal while coming after you, and then the tables are turned,
and they never apologize.
Well,
they never say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we shouldn't."
It's not even a matter of apology. You did something illegal while trying to get me, and the comeuppance comes.
Yeah,
you've got that revenge happy thing going on. The Schadenfreude is thick in your blood, but that's the thing. It's justice. If the crime that they committed is being punished fairly within the confines of the law, that's justice. Just because you're happy about it doesn't mean it's necessarily like a bad thing.
Which politician and which media outlet do you think are going to be the first ones?
The list is too long.
To actually start using the words and complaining about the weaponization of the DOJ.
I think it's already started.
Oh man, yeah, didn't they start that already?
I think so.
They're talking about the revenge campaign. That was actually one of the lines during the elections, right? They was like, oh, Trump's got his enemies list. He's going to start a revenge campaign if he gets in. You can't let him do that. No. Well, here it comes.
Get the popcorn. Like I said, get the popcorn.
I'm excited.
It's going to be interesting.
I'm excited about this as much as I was excited about Doge.
No, that's saying something.
Yes.
All right. Speaking of the DOJ, Attorney General Pam Bondi says she is prioritizing securing the southern border. And you notice that the left is not making their claims about the bipartisan border control bill is what we really needed because of the way that the numbers have gone literally in 4 weeks. And she's talking about stopping the flow of illegal immigration. She's only been in office 2 weeks. Speaking at CPAC at the conference in Washington, D.C., Attorney General Bondi says she's serious about making sure sanctuary cities and states stop protecting illegal immigrants.
I sued Illinois first, Chicago, first day, and I gave a very strong warning. If you don't comply with the law, you're next. And guess who didn't listen? New York. Kathy Hochul got sued. They all got sued in New York. And if you don't follow the law, you're going to be next.
And Kathy Hochul calls it a publicity-driven lawsuit. And so Illinois obviously kind of doubles down. J.B. Pritzker doubled down on this. New York doubled down on this. So we're going to see a lot of stuff tied up in court on this for a while.
Between cash getting in and all the stuff going on with folks looking at his time now for the next 10 years at the FBI. That's a 10-year tenure for him. I'm guessing
he's not going to serve 10 years, by the way.
Well, you never know.
I mean, because once the next president comes in, they're gonna want their guy in there. So,
well,
depending
on JD will
depending on who it is.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah. But anyway, I'm guessing a lot of lawyers are getting phone calls.
Oh yeah.
In all these different cities, the sanctuary cities, lawyers are getting phone calls, and in DC, a lot of those Democratic folks are going through the phone book. I just dated myself.
I was going to say phone book. If you're under the age of 40, let me tell you what a phone book is.
They actually made a paper. Now, let me explain what paper is.
Oh, check out the yellow pages while you're at it.
The yellow pages, yes, exactly. Well, what's funny too is this accusation by Hochul that it's just publicity. It's a publicity stunt to have a this legal action against the publicity stunts that they've been pulling in terms of their illegal immigrant or their undocumented migrant virtue signaling.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is going to be fascinating. All right, the 76 passengers from the Delta flight that crashed and flipped over at the Toronto airport, they're being offered $30,000 each. Ooh. So if they all accept, that means Delta would be paying out about $2.3 million. Here's passenger Brian Erickson talking about that offer.
The representative that spoke to me said that this is no strings attached. There's some people in pretty tough shape, and $30,000 right now would be extremely helpful.
21 of the 79 people on board were hurt, although there were no critical injuries. Delta says the offer would not affect any other legal rights of passengers. Do you take the money?
Oh, well, what do they mean? It won't affect their other legal rights.
Good question.
That's a big deal because usually these payouts are tied to, okay, now this says you're not going to sue us.
Right.
That's usually what
Exactly.
this type of
Right.
money is. It's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
this means you can't sue us.
Or not sue us for this.
You waive
or,
your rights to sue us
or
for
you
sex.
must go to arbitration or mediation. Oh, so I would
There's some strings attached.
take $1,000 or $2 and hire a lawyer to look over that proposal.
Yeah, I mean,
cash that
at the very least, because I imagine the people who are hurt the most, the people who may actually have end up having long-term disabilities associated with this, that $30,000 is nothing.
Oh, yeah, precisely. All right, so I've added some new descriptors here to talk about this hockey game here. All right, here we go. Ready?
Right.
All right, the moose riding, flannel wearing, Avril Lavigne listening, maple syrup chuggers get their revenge on Team USA.
Oh, they sure did.
Yeah, Canada won the first Four Nations Face-Off Hockey Championship in Boston last night. Final score after overtime was 3-2. It was a good game.
Mhm.
That win avenges Canada's loss to the U.S. last Saturday. And here's a little known fact. Because they won that game, they can stay their own country. They don't have to become a state now.
I heard there was
a lot at stake.
I heard there was a bet that I think who was it? Ted Cruz, I think, that said, okay, you guys get the key.
If you win, then you can stay a country.
Yes,
all right.
exactly.
We're not going to conquer you. All right, the NHL season resumes tomorrow, and it's Friday. And the Blues are at home to play the Jets on Saturday. By the way, the Four Nations tournament, this was an experiment by the NHL.
That's what I hear.
To replace the All-Star festivities.
I didn't know that part of it. Oh,
right.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's kind of a preview possibly of the next Olympics too. I liked it. Because the NHL All-Star game is fine, but like the skills challenge stuff I thought was silly. But I think this is interesting because they're looking at like the World Baseball Classic and like, okay, that's kind of working.
Yeah.
I was wondering what was going to happen because when the schedule came out at the beginning of the year, that area was blank in there. So it was about a week and a half or something.
The usual All-Star break, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
And there were no listing.
Mhm.
And, all right, where's the All-Star game? What's going on?
Right. Yeah. So I'm good with the, Four Nations tournament, maybe even expand it.
Well, certainly the level of competition I think was a little higher than it normally would be for an All-Star game because there's only so much at stake for an All-Star game. Everybody's kind of protecting themselves.
Right.
When you go up against another country for the pride of your country, like we saw in that first confrontation between U.S. and Canada, the gloves come off immediately.
By the way, apparently the Team USA guys had a group chat planning that.
Oh.
Even like before the game.
Oh, wow, really?
So the accusation is they were going to do that no matter what.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
The fans started booing the national anthem, and they're like, let's do it.
Oh, he's like, oh, heck yeah, we're going.
All right, the Cardinals' first spring training game is set for tomorrow. They play the Marlins. That is a 12-10 game. I do not believe that one's on TV anywhere.
Okay.
You're gonna blow us all away.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up! Get up! This is your kissing call. Get up! Get up! What are you waiting for? Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up!
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Maela Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the support of generous Missouri taxpayers. If you're a Missouri taxpayer interested in redirecting your tax dollars and sending them to Missouri students in need of a better education, please contact me at herzogmostscholars.org.
Better education for students creates a better tomorrow for all. Learn how you can help provide a better education for Missouri students at herzogmostscholars.org. That's herzogmostscholars.org. Also, sign up for The Lion, an initiative of the Herzog Foundation that carries articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture. herzogfoundation.com. That's herzogfoundation.com.
Hey, Columbo here for Rockwood Charcoal. Rockwood is made from 100% pure Missouri oak and hickory, so you're cooking with the best and supporting local industry and a local business all at once. There's over 100 area Rockwood retailers. Find yours at rockwoodcharcoal.com.
Ackerman Toyota is #1 in sales for 2024. That is 2 years in a row. It's really no surprise. Ackerman has the largest customer lounge where you can relax, take your time choosing new or premium pre-owned. Ackerman at Hampton and 44. AckermanToyota.com. Thank you for making Ackerman Toyota #1 2 years in a row. AckermanToyota.com. Ackerman Toyota for life.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
We're off to a hard rockin' start.
Yeah, you're going to be surprised, I think, by some of the
Nice.
tunes on this Flashback Friday.
Did you see that Ozzy Osbourne is going to do one more performance? And they're reuniting Black Sabbath to do one more performance in England. Now, it's going to be interesting to see because he really can't get around that much anymore. So he's probably going to have to be sitting the whole time.
Do the Phil Collins thing.
Yeah, exactly. Although I got a feeling they're probably going to do like some big goth throne or something like that. But yeah, they're having a whole bunch of bands, you know, part of almost like a festival of a send off of Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath. And I forgot when that is, but yeah, it's one final performance and it's in England.
Sometime during the summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes because there were people like, is he going to be able to do it? Because I mean, he's not in very good shape. He's in pretty bad health. I mean, you can only, which, you know, I know he's only in his 70 something. So, I mean, it's not like he's ancient, but he did a lot of drugs.
and he looks ancient.
He's basically pickled his brain.
Yeah, I'm always surprised at the rockers who make it into old age, honestly.
Yeah.
Because Keith Richards is going to live out everybody.
Seriously.
Him and not Rock, but Willie Nelson. Outlive everybody.
I suppose there's like there's a decrease in life expectancy, and then you hit a certain point where you've taken so many drugs that the mixture in your body makes you immortal.
You're kind of immune. Yeah,
exactly. Right.
There was a DJ in another city back when that TV show, the reality show, was on with the Osbournes.
Oh yeah.
And he would just take clips of that, and he did like a contest giveaway. You could be caller number whatever, but you had to guess what Ozzy Osbourne said,
right?
And nobody ever got it right. It was like it was like the Swedish Chef.
Yeah. Yeah, you just
Mr. Crowley.
You just switch the accent from Swedish to British. Yes.
All right, there's another accusation against St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery. Now, remember, he's already being investigated by the FBI, or his department's being investigated for something else. Did he really roll dice to determine if a deputy got to keep his job?
Excuse me?
Yeah. This is crazy.
Hold on. Hold the phone. Yeah, are they playing craps with somebody's career? Is that what they were saying?
Yes, apparently that's what happened. Now there is another layer to all this as well, but I'm thinking for such a small department that has such a relatively small job, I'm not saying unimportant, just small, very narrow, very tailored job.
Small scope job.
There's a lot of weirdness going on here. By the way, we are racing to save lives here in St. Louis. We're almost there to the point where we can start saving some lives. We got the update for you at 6:35. I made the mistake of having some of that like trail mix, and I think some of that dust has gotten into my throat.
You got peanut dust going on.
I do. I did a little bit of peanut dust. Okay, so Sheriff Alfred Montgomery is accused of literally using a game of chance to manage at least one deputy, and that deputy's time off request are actually his job. So go to KMOV.com for the story. So here's what happened is the now former deputy, whose name is Kirchner. Let me see here. Tony Kirchner. He's actually running for alderman in one of the wards right now, too. So there's a whole other layer to that.
Okay.
But Kirchner decided to record the conversation.
Oh wow. Okay, so this isn't just a he said sort of situation. This is
I listened to the audio.
We got
morning.
a recording. All right.
There's a recording, and Channel 4 has it. You can download it right there.
Wow.
It's 45 minutes long, so
Mhm.
you'd have to really and there's a lot of like muffled and stuff.
Oh sure,
I think
yeah.
his phone was in his pocket.
It's hidden, you
Right.
know.
And so it's a little bit. It's the audio is like muffled and distant, so I don't think it's really. I do, it's not really a radio clarity thing, but you can hear it.
Right,
Okay.
okay.
So I listened to it earlier today.
Mhm.
So here's what happened: is this happened on January 22nd? Tony Kirchner had a death in his family. He
Mhm.
wanted to take some time off FMLA leave for the death in the family. His father died, and on January 22nd, Montgomery's heard in this recording saying, "I'm a fair guy." I'm quoting here. "I'm very firm that we are going to do things according to policy. Here's one option. Here's two options." And then he rolls dice. He
And
had it
you
in
can
his
hear it.
pocket, golden dice.
Golden. Oh no. Oh my gosh.
I mean, and then he goes on to say, and I'm quoting, "That's three options. You get two chances to roll a 7. We'll go with whatever you want." Well, it turns out that Kirchner rolled a 7.
Wow.
And so the sheriff was like, "All right, you can take your time off," but then he fired the guy anyway.
Oh my gosh.
But he actually said, "You don't roll 7, then you leave the department."
Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's literally playing craps with the man's career.
Right. Okay. And first of all, carrying around golden dice.
Yeah, see, that's a red flag. That's a red flag to me.
Listen, I don't want to be the one to say it because I'm the white guy here. But this is kind of hood, man.
That's very hood.
Yeah.
If you're rolling around with and you just got the dice on you, and it's on you constantly, that's a problem.
Yes. And so, by the way, and Tony Kirchner, of course, he's under a lot of scrutiny because he's accused by multiple people of campaigning while in uniform, which is a big no.
That's a no-no.
You can't. Now, he says he didn't do that, and he's got. But so I'm just saying is that there are accusations against him too. But the audio is at KMOV.com. It's right there.
That is so crazy.
All 45 minutes of this. Now, most of it's just filler and people walking around and stuff, but it's there.
That's amazing. So it's raw. It's raw audio.
It's raw audio.
That's the thing. So
That's right.
it took 45 minutes to get to the good part, basically.
Yeah, it was a little bit earlier than that, but yeah. And so this is what's bizarre. So when you go through it, like, and I just printed up Channel 4s. That's what I've got in your thing there. And Kirchner rolls the dice and says 7. Sheriff Montgomery then says, "Okay, take the leave time you need. We'll go from there." And even though he did roll the 7, he found out a few days later he'd been terminated.
Wow. That's crazy. So you made him think, basically.
Yeah.
Your boss makes you think you're gambling for your future, but it's not real. It's just him messing with you.
Yeah. And Channel 4 did ask the sheriff about it. He doesn't want to make a comment.
That's even
on
worse. It's even worse that the results of the gambling didn't stand. You know what I mean? It's insult to injury, right? That's crazy.
Oh my goodness. So now remember, because he also they're under investigation because there's an accusation against a different former deputy of a sexual assault of an detainee at the Justice Center.
Right, that they were dropping off.
And then the sheriff showed up there and literally put the jail commissioner in handcuffs.
Right.
Because he wasn't allowed to go where he wanted to do his investigation, but he doesn't have any jurisdiction there.
Yeah. So there's so many problems with that office.
Wow.
Jay Monty on Rumble said if there was a flip of a coin, then maybe he was Harvey Dent.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Nice. Nice reference. Okay.
Harvey Dent.
Harvey
Wow.
Dent. Yes.
Again, I'm thinking, okay, because remember, this has been that really closely contested vote between Vernon Betts and Alfred Montgomery, and Montgomery won. I mean, it was like 100 votes or something. It was a tiny majority. And the former sheriff and the current sheriff, they can't stand each other.
Yeah. Yeah. They've had a bit of contention for a while now.
Yeah. So where do you go from here? Now that's audio is there, I don't know how the sheriff gets to keep his job.
No, this is absolutely a fireable offense.
Right.
If I'm his boss, whoever that is,
That's the taxpayer.
I'm assuming.
I mean, it's the people. He's elected.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's an elected official. Yeah. So yes, if I am a voter, in this area, the next time he comes up, absolutely he's out because he's a hood rat MF if I ever heard one.
I mean, if it were he said versus he said.
Mm-hmm.
I probably don't bring this up and I probably don't talk about it.
Well, yeah, because it's just a scandal.
I listened to the audio.
Yeah. Yeah, if you heard it, it's like, wow,
It's there.
This is him. This is him doing this thing.
Yes.
Pulling out his golden dice.
And I'm like, why are you in the sheriff's uniform walking around with golden dice?
That's so crazy. Who else is he gambling with in terms of their future? That he would have golden dice on him.
He's only been on the job since January 1st.
Oh my gosh.
Geez, but I would check out that story at KMOV. And again, the audio's right there. It's muffled. There's a lot, you have to really dig through it.
You got to wade through it a bit, yeah.
But it's there, and I'm glad that they put that up there, because otherwise I'm not talking about it if I don't hear it myself. Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
All right. The race is on to save lives here in the St. Louis region now that abortions have resumed in Missouri, and we do have some exciting updates for you. All right, that's going to happen right around 6:34 here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Well, there you go again, listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Today into this weekend, the weather scales finally tip in our favor as a warming trend kicks into gear. But first, another frigid morning. Yep, sunny skies will help us jump, though, to a high of 28 this afternoon. That's 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. Let's keep it going, shall we? Lows in the teens tonight, but then up to 40 Saturday afternoon and mostly sunny. 53 on Sunday and 60 on Monday. From deep winter cold to a spring preview. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
I've got a way for you to really dress up your home, and only one guy I'd trust to do it. Michael Proctor, like doctor. Michael will personally examine which drapes, blinds, or shutters will complement your home. He doesn't just measure, he designs, and to make sure it's done right, he will install them. All this saves you money on custom-made drapes, shades, and shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com. ProctorDrapery.com.
Jeffco Patriot Radio. Every week, get the stories and insider analysis of what is really happening in Jefferson County.
We are basically kind of doing a little Tim Jones radio here with a focus on Jefferson County. My co-host, Billy Crow.
Really excited to show the people of the region everything that Jefferson County has to offer.
Jeffco Patriot Radio. If it's a big story in Jefferson County, you'll hear about it on Jeffco Patriot Radio. Sundays at noon on News Talk STL.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
On the next, Larry Connors, USA.
Kash Patel confirmed as FBI director. Now, what is he going to find once he gets inside the FBI?
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL. The 80s. Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young. Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where are the beat?
It's Flashback Friday.
Phil Collins on Flashback
Yeah.
Friday.
That's right.
Inside Out.
All right. We were hoping to chat with Levi Hart from Reach Reproductive Health Services. Hopefully we can maybe get a hold of him in a little bit. There's a gremlin in our system.
Yeah, this one's bigger than the last one.
This is not Levi. This is not on him.
It's a bigger gremlin than the last one we had. Because remember, either was it yesterday or a couple days ago, we were having a little bit of trouble hearing one of our guests. Now we can't hear anything.
Right.
No dial tone, no.
All right. Well, the race is on to save lives here in the St. Louis Metro. I've got all the information that we were going to talk about. I just wanted to hear it from Levi, who's the CEO of Reach Reproductive Health Services. Don't forget, live and local conservative talk all weekend. The Randy Tobler Show, Saturday morning from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock right here on News Talk STL. And so while we're trying to see if we can force something through on the phones thing here, last week, Reach had, kind of basically a big interest meeting. Now, Reach is going to be the new main pregnancy resource center.
Right.
And, obviously, and I don't want to re-litigate everything that happened with Thrive when Thrive has kind of imploded over the past, 6 months or so. So, excuse me. But a lot of hundreds of people showed up to this.
Right.
So now that abortions have resumed in Missouri, and we don't know how many there are.
Right.
Or we don't know how many there have been.
They have no obligation to tell us anymore.
Well, the health department is supposed to track any sort of surgical thing, but we'll wait and see what happens with Amendment 3, with the Caleb Rowden Amendment. We've basically all regulations on abortions have essentially been wiped out.
Right.
Which makes what Reach is doing so important.
Yeah, all the more important.
Right. And, originally when you start a new organization, and you're talking about tax, status, and you're talking about nonprofit status, and you're talking about, being eligible for the tax programs in the state and all this. I mean, that typically takes a long time, but they've really been pushing and rushing.
Yeah.
Because there's a massive need right here in St. Louis. So 200 people were at that interest meeting, which is fantastic. And so they got the outline of the services that are going to be provided. So essentially we're talking about reaching out to particularly the young women who are in a crisis pregnancy or in a crisis situation, abusive situation or whatever the case is, and being able to offer those medical services, those counseling services, those resources, the things that fill in the gaps when a young woman says, I can't do this right. This being have a baby. They are now planning, Reach is now planning to launch services at the face-to-face street level. We're talking about basically next week, March 3rd.
Next week. Okay.
So a week from Monday.
Nice.
Not next week, but a week from Monday.
A week from Monday. Okay.
Which is sooner than what they were originally thinking they were going to be able to get done.
Yeah, I thought they were a month or so or two away from getting started. So it's good to hear that they're pushing the date. They're pushing the launch date earlier.
Right. And so are they fully funded? No, not yet. But they've got enough to get going.
Nice.
There's been a lot of support for this. And so I'm looking at this this letter that was sent out. It said our goal is to gradually expand our services, be fully operational by August.
Nice.
Which was, I think, the original.
Yeah, that was the original full, everything day.
But we can't wait.
No.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm not talking about the politics. I'm not talking about the policy. We are going to stay on top of that as well. But to the fact that they're launching something to get something offered to the women who are in these tough situations is remarkable that they've been able to do this so fast. So in order to be fully operational, they still are trying to raise about $400,000. Now, some of that is going to be, people making pledges for the next fiscal year because of the tax system and all that sort of thing.
Right.
So if you want to donate or you want to make that pledge in order to maximize the tax benefits for this, because there are special incentives in Missouri if you're giving to pro-life pregnancy resource center organizations.
Right. There's a tax or I'm trying to remember exactly how to put it, but there's a sort of a a tax offset that you get,
right?
Where basically the money that you send, I think 70% of it or something like that, just comes straight back to you. Like it's a credit.
It's a big credit.
Yeah.
But those are going to be available July 1st.
Okay. Yes.
So here's the conundrum.
Mm-hmm.
To maximize your benefits, you start making those donations July 1st and after.
Right.
They really need to be up and running now.
Right. So I think they're running on. I mean, and part of the idea is when you make your pledge, you say, okay, come July 1st, I'm going to give this much. They're counting that right now.
Right.
And they're taking it on faith that you mean what you say, that you're actually, that check is going to actually get written and clear. Right. But they're kind of running on the full faith and credit of those who are supporting. So, I mean, it's absolutely an act of faith, and it's takes a lot of that to be in this work to begin with.
So there is a website where you can pledge or you can give right now, outreachforlife.org. And so we were hoping to have Levi Hart on to go through, okay, here's what we're doing as far as, the actual medical services. Here's why this is crucial, is because, Planned Parenthood is so good. They're doing a media basically blitz, doing interviews with friendly media, like they're being featured on NPR, local NPR here coming up. And of course, I've watched several of the local TV and newspaper outlets refer to resuming abortion care.
Yes, that's how they always
that's how
couch
they're
it.
framing this. And so it is crucial because basically those who approved Amendment 3, those who voted for Amendment 3, those who lied about it, those who didn't have the courage to stand up against it, you all have given Planned Parenthood new life.
Yeah, you're giving them carte blanche to kill babies in the state of Missouri,
because this is their business. This is all they do.
Yeah,
they claim that they do a whole bunch of other things. They don't do cancer screenings. They lie about that.
No,
but this is what they do. They make money off of killing. So it was getting kind of depressing because there was nobody to stand in the gap once Thrive had all the problems that they have. And Thrive is essentially non-operational right now.
Yeah, not in terms of providing the real help that keeps women from making that fatal choice,
or at least giving them that option. So now, Reach is, I think, got the right approach. This isn't a political activist group. They do have, like, for instance, they've acquired that mobile medical unit from Thrive, because Thrive wasn't able to use it anymore, and so Reach has acquired that along with a couple of the medical clinics in the area.
Right.
And so starting on March 3rd, there's going to be a physical location where people can go and get advice, get examined, get medical care, real medical care, and have those options.
Yes. It's a game changer in the state where currently we're kind of, there are no options for these women who are in crisis. They look at Planned Parenthood as their only way out, but it's not so.
So here's the bottom line, is that this is really exciting that they're going to be able to launch some or a lot of these services on March 3rd. So we're talking a week from Monday.
Yes.
They're going to be able to do that. So outreachforlife.org was where you can learn more about this, where you can make a pledge, where you can make a donation. So I love that there are so many people who will make donations to pro-life political campaigns and messaging, and that's great.
Yes.
You'll donate to candidates and office holders who have a good track record on being pro-life. That's fantastic, but it's not enough.
No. Yeah. And I really, really encourage you to take advantage of that Missouri program that gives you that 70%. Because like I said, it's a credit. It's not like, oh, you get to claim a certain level of reduction in your taxable income and you got to go with these various calculations. No, it's pretty much $7 out of 10 you get back in a check from the government.
By donating to
by donating. You donate 10, you get back 7.
Yeah. So go to outreachforlife.org to get more information about that on there. So Levi has so much more of those details. And so I apologize that we weren't able to get him on because of some technical difficulties.
Stupid gremlins.
Gremlins in the system, man. But it's all forward looking at this point, and especially those of you who were so involved with Thrive, really think about getting involved with Reach as well. Thrive did a lot of great work over the years. They're unable to do what they used to do for a variety of reasons. And so this is where we pick up the ball and we keep running and we get in front of those who are in need And, they're once they get all these services up and running, we're talking about working with the men involved in this to teach them how to be fathers and help, if creating a family is possible, to do that, but otherwise to really just preserve and protect life.
It's a really, really good setup. They've got all of the pieces in place. It's just a matter of kind of pushing through and getting the money, the resources that they need to be fully functional. I also have to say that I love the fact that they call themselves reproductive health services.
Yep.
That's recapturing the language is kind of important,
right? Because having a baby is actually reproducing.
Yes, exactly.
Chopping one up into little pieces is the opposite of reproducing.
Exactly. So I'm happy for that. I'm also happy that when people look for reproductive health services or reproductive health resources, and they type that into the search engine, Reach is going to show up.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Normally this is where I give out the phone number, but I'm not going to do that right now because the gremlins are in the way right now. We're working on it. We're working on
it.
All right. We got a lot of ground to cover, bring you up to date here. And then hopefully we're going to be able to get an update from CPAC in Washington, DC at 7:00. We're working on it right here on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Telling me how to be. Everybody tells me to do what they say. Ooh, I'll help myself. It's up to me and no one else. But till I'm ready, just keep out of my way. Inside out. Ooh, you got me inside out. Oh, inside out.
This is so stupid.
St. Louis's.
Okay, I'm hanging up on you now.
Place to talk. News Talk STL.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a two-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Never paint again with Rhino Shield. Listen to what a couple of happy customers have to say.
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted. Our building was really faded. You came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
What a wonderful job they did. It's beautiful. They were very thoughtful, kind, considerate guys. Appreciate all the work that these two young men did.
Call Rhino Shield, 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income. If you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
And people were seriously in a rockin' mood this week for the Flashback Friday.
Oh yeah.
Just to make it clear, I did not pick these songs.
Right.
Now you would say, come on, Mike. Iron Maiden, Ozzy Osbourne, Motley Crue.
It sounds like your picks, Mike.
It's kind of my playlist. Man, going way back to like 82 Motley Crue.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
83.
83, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Man,
All right.
these 80s guitar riffs, man, there's just something about them.
That's Mick Mars, maybe at his best.
Mm-hmm.
That, and then when he did Primal Scream, those were some great riffs on there. Jeez. All right, it is 6:50 right now. Let's go ahead and bring you up to date here. Cash gets the gig.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be fiery.
I'm so excited.
He's going to get sworn in a little bit later on today. And that hockey game didn't go the way we wanted, eh?
Yeah.
We're going to come up with all sorts of like descriptors.
Yes.
For the victors.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and dump some news on you here.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out. You know, I mean, they got all the news. The morning news dump.
And by the way, when I get to that part, Gabe,
yes,
if you can think of one or two, just kind of give me the sign.
Okay, yeah.
I'll pause and let you throw one in there as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right. We got an update to something we talked about on Thursday with Tim Jones, which you can hear the conversation on our podcast. Missouri House approves the bill to put the St. Louis Police Department back under state oversight. Now, that plan now heads to the state Senate. So basically, it's halfway to the finish line.
Yeah.
Governor Mike Kehoe supports the proposal. If approved, a 5-person board of commissioners, including one appointed by the governor, would oversee the department. Another appointee would be the mayor, whoever the mayor is. And then each of the 2 police unions would have a seat at the table as well, which I'm not certain. I'm wild about 40% of the oversight being with the unions, but it's better than what we've got right now.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, historically, St. Louis police have been under state oversight. The aberration came when voters made that change and gave the city a chance to have local control in 2012. And so the city took over in 2013. So really, we're looking at 11 or 12 years out of 130 some odd years. And obviously the experiment has failed, past tense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is halfway there. I really do think this is probably going to get through the Senate. I think this is going to happen this year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Get the popcorn out. Man, things are about to get very interesting now. The President Trump's pick to lead the FBI actually gets the gig. Here is the story.
The yeas are 51. The nays are 49. The confirmation is confirmed.
By a vote of 51 to 49, Patel was confirmed and inherits an agency in turmoil after what critics say was a weaponization of the FBI under President Biden. Patel, a noted Trump loyalist, is expected to demand accountability for any who violated the law in pursuit of Donald Trump or his supporters. He's also expected to reduce the FBI's footprint in D.C. and return to its traditional law enforcement role, tracking down criminals nationwide. Bob Agnew reporting.
Kash Patel will be sworn in, and he will go on the payroll sometime today, probably late this morning is most likely when that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Senator Mitch McConnell announcing that he is not going to seek re-election next year.
Thank God.
Yeah. That, of course, I mean, he's been in the Senate for decades.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally. True power broker in the Republican Party. McConnell made that announcement on the Senate floor on Thursday on his 83rd birthday. And of course, that follows a series of medical episodes in recent years, including, him being hurt from falling, including like just a week ago, he had a fall. And then times when he just literally just froze up while speaking and stopped.
Yeah, just zones out.
Malfunction.
He's got that face. We saw it on Joe Biden, occasionally. And look, we got to call out our side too. He's obviously in cognitive decline.
Right.
Obviously.
And you remember when you would try to, in the old days, connect to the internet and you got that dial-up sound and it would miss, and that's what you hear in your head when you're watching him freeze up.
Absolutely.
But here's part of what he had to say on the Senate floor.
Regardless of the political storms that may wash over this chamber during the time I have remaining, I assure our colleagues that I will depart with great hope for the endurance of the Senate as an institution.
So Mitch McConnell is the longest serving Senate party leader in United States history, and he stepped down from that leadership role about a year ago.
Wow.
I don't think anybody actually expected him to run again.
No, I mean when you look at like you said, him freezing up and these recent episodes, I think this was expected. His retirement was imminent.
Right. Yeah. So, and I don't follow Kentucky politics all that much. So I don't know who's going to be in line to try to
who's the
run.
successor, right? Yeah.
So, I mean, their governor is a Democrat, Andy Beshear, who's pretty popular. So that's going to be one that the Republicans are probably going to have to fight to hold on to. Although Kentucky, you would say, is a red state because it's Kentucky, but they've elected this governor, a couple times now. All right, St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery is heard on audio leaving a deputy's job up to chance. This is so bizarre, like literally up to a roll of the dice. Former Deputy Tony Kirchner recorded the conversation on January 22nd. Kirchner was asking about taking some leave after a death in his family, and he recorded that discussion. Sheriff Montgomery can be heard saying he'd leave the request up to a roll of the dice. If Kirchner rolled a 7, which he did, he could take the leave. If not, he'd leave the department. Man, Kirchner says he was fired anyway. And if you want to see that story or hear that audio, just go to KMOV.com. So bizarre.
That was a wild story. I mean, dude just playing up the ghetto stereotypes for no good reason.
He literally is like, you know what? I got some gold dice right here.
I got my gold dice. Let's roll.
What the heck?
Yeah,
man.
Got to roll that 7.
Oh, geez. All right. The 76 passengers from the Delta flight that crashed and flipped over at the Toronto airport this past week are being offered $30,000 each. So if they all accept, that means that Delta would be paying out $2.3 million just for that. Here is passenger Brian Erickson talking about the offer that they received.
The representative that spoke to me said that this is no strings attached. There's some people in pretty tough shape, and $30,000 right now would be extremely helpful.
21 of the 79 people on board were hurt, although there were no critical injuries, thank goodness. Delta says the offer of $30,000 would not affect any other legal rights of the passengers.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, look, I'm just going to say it. There are absolutely strings. It's like a spokesman said, there are no strings. There are absolutely strings. There have to be. Now, if I am an unhurt passenger and I was basically just inconvenienced by the thing, I'm taking the 30K.
Taking the 30,000,
obviously.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm somebody
I
who's
still
hurt,
have a lawyer read it over.
Oh, well, yeah, whatever the agreement is, you got to read it over. Now, if I'm hurt and that may be a permanent disability at some point, is like, oh wow, it's like this turned out to be worse than I thought. That 30,000 might not go anywhere.
Exactly. All right, here we go. The moose riding, flannel wearing, Celine Dion listening,
toque wearing, Tim Hortons donut eating,
maple syrup chuggers get their revenge on Team USA. Those are good. I like those.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm going to do this again at 8:05.
Yes,
Thinking of a few others.
Let's keep adding on.
Canada won the first Four Nations face-off hockey tournament in Boston last night. Final score did go to overtime, was 3-2 over Team USA. That win avenges Canada's loss to the U.S. last Saturday. The NHL season resumes tomorrow. The Blues are actually going to be at home taking on the Jets on, Saturday at Enterprise.
Number 1 for live and local
conservative talk.
I've been a registered Democrat for 28 years. I'm really glad you're talking about this.
You gotta love these idiots out here. They think we're all stupid, I guess.
news, analysis, opinion.
Totally agree on that. I disagree with you.
It's over.
Very upset.
Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you very much for taking my call.
Wanted to ask you really quick. Is there room on the bandwagon for me?
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
It's a brand new year. Tim Jones to tell you about the brand new things happening at The Hideout, famous for the Sunset Patio, 50 big screen TVs, live music and events, a fantastic game room, and of course, the food. The Hideout has a brand new menu featuring their world famous wings, the best handcrafted burgers, new items like the signature Sunset Dip and Dave's Chili, and a second location at Sugar Creek Golf Course in beautiful High Ridge. Experience The Hideout while enjoying a round of golf. Come in for lunch or dinner. The new 2025 Hideout, hideoutsportsbar.com, hideoutsportsbar.com. We'll definitely see you there.
SR1 Sundays.
Aaron Dorr, the Missouri Firearms Coalition. I want to remind you to tune in to Shall Not Be Infringed every Sunday night at 9 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. Part of SR1 Sundays. At 6 p.m., it's Stand and Fight with Senator Nick Schroer, followed by Straight Lines with Elizabeth Kaiser at 8. And again, Shall Not Be Infringed at 9. Then download the News Talk app and listen anywhere, anytime to 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
SR1 Sundays.
Sunday night at 6 on News Talk STL.
Attention St. Louis small business owners. Dive into the power of video with Blue Ocean Media Group. We create affordable, eye-catching content that makes waves on social media and strengthens your brand. Don't let big budgets hold you back. Our professional team delivers pro quality at small business prices. Boost your online presence, engage customers, and watch your business grow. Visit blueomg.com today to start your video journey. That's blueomg.com.
KLDY HD3 Clay, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The White House is not shy about touting President Trump's record since his return to the White House. Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller saying the president, within days of taking office, cut border crossings 95%. And then there's Vice President Vance on the stage at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference.
The annual conference, which traditionally has brought together different factions of the Republican Party, has become increasingly aligned with President Trump's MAGA wing. The vice president touted the Trump administration's success in its first month of restoring, quote, safety and prosperity to the American people, which he said is the president's fundamental goal.
The fundamental goal is we want your children and grandchildren to be able to raise a family in security and comfort in the country that we all love. That is the whole goal of President Trump's agenda.
Bernie Bennett, Washington.
And the president's agenda enjoys a good day in court.
The Trump administration registered a few legal wins Thursday. 2 federal judges refusing to impose temporary restraining orders. One on the mass layoff of federal workers, while a lawsuit brought by unions moves forward. Another over the halt to funding of the nation's largest private refugee resettlement program, brought by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops.
And that's correspondent Ben Thomas. Senate Republicans passing a $340 billion budget plan. Includes funding for border security, energy production, the military. Rand Paul, the lone Republican, to vote no. The measure now goes to the House, where it faces an uncertain future. Kash Patel to be sworn in today as the new FBI director. 2 Republicans, Collins of Maine, Murkowski of Alaska, siding with all the Democrats yesterday and voting no on the nomination. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures down 192 points, NASDAQ futures 73 points higher, and the S&P futures are up 4 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
We talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural reference is only
from the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Today into this weekend, the weather scales finally tip in our favor as a warming trend kicks into gear. But first, another frigid morning. Yep, sunny skies will help us jump, though, to a high of 28 this afternoon. That's 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. Let's keep it going, shall we? Lows in the teens tonight, but then up to 40 Saturday afternoon and mostly sunny. 53 on Sunday and 60 on Monday. From deep winter cold to a spring preview. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL, brought to you by Jewels on Hampton, paying some of the highest prices for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Call 314-752-5000 or visit jewelsonhampton.com.
Now you can get the incredible weight loss results that thousands of people have had with the top name brand prescription weight loss products, all in the comfort of your own home. With this free offer from New Hope Weight Loss, yes, generic versions of the popular weight loss prescription products are available now by you simply making a phone call. You'll save hundreds of dollars over traditional retail pricing. When you call right now, you'll speak with one of our virtual doctors and they'll provide your prescription. And will send you your medication. It's that easy. And you'll be on your way to your weight loss journey in a matter of days. And when you order today, we'll waive the $100 doctor's fee. This product is not covered by your insurance. It's only $199 a month. Call right now to learn more.
800-438-6519. 800-438-6519. 800-438-6519. That's 800-438-6519.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple saw stereo!
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice, drain the swamp, and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now. Believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
It's Friday!
Looking at one of those news feeds right now.
Mm-hmm.
Media is now rushing in to do the sob stories of like, can you believe that Donald Trump is firing these workers?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so they're running for that.
Yeah, they're trying to find every single sympathetic face they can put on,
right?
So, and they're crying about the people that we can no longer help and all these other things. No, the grift is up.
Right.
Quit crying.
Yeah, pretty much.
There, now my mic is working.
There you go.
Isn't it interesting that when Obama and Clinton let a lot of people go,
and it was a lot.
There wasn't much of a fuss back then.
No. But you go back to the by the way, we're our connection is still not there, right? We're right.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still
trying to figure
still
out what to do.
All right. So I'm pretty sure I blame China.
Yeah, I'm sure it's China. Yeah.
I would blame Russia, but I know there's a lot of people who would rather blame Ukraine. So we'll just let that debate go.
Boom.
But yeah, so here's it, and you knew that this was going to be coming. And it's the funny part is I've been in the media, I've been in newsrooms, I've been in those meetings. I mean, the first not quite half my career now at this point. I've been doing opinion longer than I did journalism. But there's this meeting at the beginning of every shift.
Yeah.
So when I worked, for instance, when I used to work at an NBC affiliate, not here in St. Louis, we'd have for the 10 o'clock news around noon, we would have our first meeting of the day.
Right.
What are the plans? Here are the stories. Here's the I was an assignment editor here. Here's where we went.
Even some of the framing was kind of discussed, right?
A little bit,
how do you frame some of the stories?
Exactly. Not to the extent that we see where it is now.
No, it's just like what's the focus? What's going to actually get people to listen or whatever?
What I'm curious about, because I haven't worked in a newsroom in a long time, is do they actually try to convince themselves that they are doing journalism, that they are being unbiased, or are they just in those conversations? We got to fight this guy. We gotta fight back. We got to defend the Democrats. We got to, or
that's a really good question.
Yeah, because one of the things that even back when I was in those meetings is you do take into account what's going to get ratings.
Yeah, what's going to resonate?
What's marketable?
What's going to resonate with the audience?
Right.
Obviously, because you're selling a product. You're still as much as it's a matter of telling the truth and trying to get a story out there and letting people know the facts. There's still a measure of we have to sell this product.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Sure.
Ideally, the market demands fair and unbiased news. I don't think the market's demanding.
No.
I think the market says we want our thing that's going to tell us what we want to hear, and then the people on the left, their market is for those. The people on the right, the market is for those outlets. People who are MAGA, they want their, and so everybody wants to be told what they want to hear.
Yeah, the current market is confirmation bias. That's the current market.
By
everybody. Yes, because the problem with hearing things that counter whatever narrative you have in your mind is that it might cause you to have to rethink your narrative. And
no, we don't do that.
That's painful. I mean, oddly enough, just discussing human nature. it's actually very difficult to question your own narratives.
Right.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
But and people don't like to do hard things.
No. And which, I can't believe I'm still doing this after like close to 30 years. Just for the sake of, I get in trouble a lot with the core audience because I'm like, well, what if we're wrong?
Right.
And right now it's like, well, what if Trump's wrong about something? No, don't you dare ever, that sort of thing. Because here's the thing is that sometimes he is wrong. Now he's getting a lot right.
Oh yeah.
Right now. But for instance, I get people tagging me on like social media and sending me these links and they're not vetted and they're not good links. Sometimes they are. But there were, a couple stories where, before you got in, Stella and I were talking about, I said, man, I heard a lot of accusations about, for instance, this plane crash in Toronto.
Right.
Well, there's a lot of things that people are convinced they know everything about the crew.
Oh, geez.
We don't know anything about the crew.
Oh, geez.
We have no idea.
Are they doing this thing now? It's like, it's a DEI crew who did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe it was.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That's possible.
They're like this plane, this flight was operated by this company for Delta Airlines and this company. Well, I don't know who operated the flight.
Right.
I can't confirm any of it.
Right.
But what we do right now is we just run with it because that advances what we're trying to accomplish, but it's more effective if you can confirm it and it's true.
It reminds me of the falsely accused drunk guy in Kansas City. Every single time we get one of these stories from the right, where it's kind of like, well, this is feeding our narrative. And people are jumping to conclusions. People are sharing.
You're talking about the Arab illegal immigrant who was also suspected in a bunch of other terrorist crimes.
Right. Who was handcuffed and put on the sidewalk because he may have shot up the celebratory gathering at the Chiefs thing. Except none of that was true.
Right.
Except not a single freaking word of it.
Yeah.
Let me take a moment here and see if we can check in with Susie Moore.
Oh, okay.
On the East Coast. Susie, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you guys.
Oh,
hey,
look
Susie.
at that. Yay.
All right.
Okay, so what we were doing was just doing what's called time filling.
No.
I know.
You guys were having a substantive, informative conversation.
No, we're right-wing talk radio. We don't do stuff like that. Susie is at CPAC in Washington, D.C. And thank you so much for checking in with us here, Susie. Okay, so here's the thing. Obviously, off-year elections,
if you got headphones, put those in, Susie.
Yeah, not election years.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, this is as good as it's going to get. But when you don't have an election year, typically the political conferences, including CPAC, tend to be a little more muted, a little less energetic, a little more technical, sort of in the weeds kind of thing. But there's nothing normal about what's happening right now with the new Trump administration. What's the vibe like? What are you experiencing at CPAC right now?
No, I'd say the vibe is much more energetic than you would normally expect on a year like this, as you just pointed out, Mike. There's definitely enthusiasm for what we're seeing. I know it was exciting yesterday in the middle of it all to know that Kash Patel had been confirmed. People are excited about the speakers. People were excited to see Elon. So yeah, there's definitely an upbeat to the energy here.
Morning, Susie. Gabe here. What else? What are the things that surprised you about CPAC? Were there any events, any speakers who just kind of they came out of the woodwork and you said, "Oh wow, I was not expecting
maybe
that."
the chainsaw.
Maybe the chainsaw.
The chainsaw was a little unexpected, but it was fun. But we're still just getting started. I mean, yesterday was the first full day of the conference. There's a full day today and a full day tomorrow.
Okay.
So we're still in the middle of it all. And we've seen definitely some high profile speakers. We had our own Senator Eric Schmidt was on stage yesterday. Pam Bondi sat for an interview with Ted Cruz. JD Vance sat for an interview with Mercedes Schlapp to sort of start things off yesterday. And there was a lot of really kind of substantive, meaty things that Vance had to say during that. So it's been interesting and entertaining so far. It's going to be, as I said, another full day today and tomorrow.
Susie, are there quite a few foreign dignitaries that are speaking?
There's at least one.
Yeah. No, there are definitely quite a few. We had Liz Truss yesterday. We had several different people from Hungary, from South America. Malay is speaking on Saturday. I mean, there's definitely a large contingent of folks from overseas and other countries that are part of the festivities.
That chainsaw came from Malay, by the way. That was his gift to Elon.
Really?
Yes, the golden chainsaw, because they're cut brothers. Those two guys. They love destroying major government bureaucracies.
We are visiting with Susie Moore from RedState.com and obviously Red State Radio here on News Talk STL. She is at the CPAC conference in Washington, D.C. So when you're obviously there's going to be some touchdown dances, there's going to be some spiking of the football, which are well deserved. But when it comes to what's ahead, how much overlap with CPAC, Conservative Political Action Conference, how much, if any, discussion is there about, okay, we need to keep this administration, the MAGA movement, the Republican majority moving in a conservative direction as opposed to just whatever Trump's agenda is? There's a lot of overlap there, but is there any concern about, okay, let's make sure that the conservative part is still front and center?
I think that there probably is, but it's not what is being discussed as part of the conference and from the stage. In other words, people who are here in attendance, people who are part of the conservative movement, I think are cognizant of the fact that it can't just be about one person and it just, one agenda. But I think also the fact that Trump has only been in office for a month and it's been such a whirlwind of activity and largely positive direction, with all of the moves that he's been making, I think that's kind of swallowing up the rest of it and from an ideological perspective right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. So are you just attending as, just as an attendee, or has Red State got a presence there? You all are involved. I'm going to ask you about Red State Radio for this week as well.
No, we're here as media. So we're definitely covering different aspects of the conference. You'll see some articles on our front page that have to do with some of the various speakers and such. So I don't know. To me, the advantage of being media, other than having a tag that says you're media, is you get to sit in the back of the room if you go to see a speaker as opposed to up front.
Well, and make sure that you say Gulf of America so you don't get kicked out.
Well, that's true. We know that rule already.
There you go.
And Susie, the other important question, do you get any swag at all?
I haven't gotten any. I mean, all I got was my little name tag, but I haven't gotten, they've got a place that's called CPAC Central that has like basically all the vendor booths and stuff. And I haven't gone down to check it out yet.
Okay.
All right. Well, speaking of media, Red State Radio coming up this weekend. What's in store?
Well, that's a good question because things are a little off kilter being on the road, but I'm going to do my best to sit down this afternoon with a couple of my different colleagues and get them lined up. So we've got a new show ready to go on Sunday, and we'll probably be talking largely about CPAC.
Oh, I would think so.
Full coverage of all events.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you've got so much, access to all the big players right there as well. Cause you never know, like I said, in an off year, as in there's no elections this year. Some of the big names just want to show up on the big election years, but it looks like they've got a pretty good lineup of speakers. They got a few crackpots and a few who's that kind of things, but they've got some pretty big names in the movement.
Definitely. And it helps being located in DC. Yeah. So all of the congressional members there, I mean, they're all close by anyway.
Oh, yeah.
How many for sale signs have you seen on DC properties?
Yeah, there you go.
I've only seen them online. I haven't really seen them, but I haven't been out and about. I mean, like once we got into town, we've been at the conference.
Okay.
Yeah. And all right, of course, when there was CPAC, the one thing is CPAC's done pretty well over the years is market to a younger activist base as well. Are they still doing a pretty good job of basically equipping them to actually get out and do the work of winning after just the conferences? Because sometimes these are just kind of, this is where your safe, your safe space is because you're you've been beaten down on your college campus for all these years. But CPAC's actually been pretty good about equipping young people to get out and do effective work and actually win things.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a good representation of the youth movement here. I mean, you definitely see younger people here as well as people my age and older, but most of the stuff you're seeing at CPAC proper is the speakers. It's not so much like a training exercise, but there are other kind of like there's a TPA Leadership Institute going on simultaneous with this. Obviously, TPA is a separate organization. They're not part of CPAC, but there's overlap in some of the people. And I know they've got a leadership school going on right now. So there definitely is, a conscious effort to get young people involved and trained and help them be part of the movement.
And send us lots of pictures. We'll put them up on social media.
You bet.
All right. Susie Moore from Red State Radio every weekend right here. And of course, redstate.com. Thanks so much for checking in, Susie. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Susie.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
All right. Just ahead here. I want to follow up on that conservative and the MAGA thing, because right now I think it's really incumbent on the conservatives to step up and say, you got elected by promising some conservative stuff. You're getting conservative stuff done. Let's make sure this stays in that direction. Because there's a lot that's just generally really populist too. And so I don't want to get to a point where we're like, man, Donald Trump defeated the leftist and he defeated the conservatives. Let's make sure that that's all part of the solutions that are being enacted. Let's talk about that right around 7:22, 119-94.1 News Talk STL.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
This is your cousin.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Get up, get up, get up.
Columbo and Company.
On Friday, we'll recap the week and update you on what's happening in the Middle East and around the world. Plus, Gabe Pfeiffer, Ken Williams, and Steve Templeton with the weekend forecast at 2:45.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Craving something twisted, something deliciously different? Philly Pretzel Factory in Baldwin is your ticket to pretzel heaven. We're not just talking regular pretzels. We're talking out-of-this-world pretzel creations and mind-blowing pretzel pizza. Don't get yourself in a knot searching for the perfect snack. We've got party trays, specialty items, assorted pretzel tins, plus our legendary dips. Philly Pretzel Factory in Baldwin. Online at phillypretzelfactory.com.
Hi, this is Missouri Secretary of State Denny Hoskins. I'm looking forward to our annual Republican Lincoln Day, March 7th through 9th in St. Louis. I encourage all my fellow conservative grassroots freedom fighters to join me and other elected officials at our annual Lincoln Day in March. Find more information at mogop.org. I look forward to seeing you there.
Get your tickets today at mogop.org. That's mogop.org.
Paid for by the Missouri Republican Party. Jennifer Finch, Treasurer.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
News Talk STL. Always streaming on your smart speaker, our mobile app, or newstalkstl.com. The 80s. Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where are the beat?
It's Flashback Friday.
How iconic is this opening?
Oh, man. And this song won like all the awards that year.
It should have.
Oh, it did.
Yeah. I don't think anybody should argue.
88, I want to say.
87.
Oh, 87. That's
But
right.
the awards may have been in 88.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, man.
It's funny. Now, oddly enough, I am sometimes reminded of the section of it's one of Will Ferrell's comedy movies. I can't remember which one it is, but they have a whole section where a family is on a road trip. It's like his brother or something, and his brother is very obsessed about his family being perfect, and they're doing an a cappella version of this song in the car. and it's just, I don't know. There's something about it. It's just the most hilarious thing I've ever seen.
That's funny. Now, now related to that, to further prove that leftists just can't do anything right.
Yeah.
Sheryl Crow did like a country acoustic soft cover of this song.
She tried to cover this song.
She tried to cover this in like a hippie ballad kind of way.
Oh no.
It was bad.
Yeah, I can imagine it. She changed up the rhythm and made it a little more folksy.
Folksy.
Yeah,
it was bad.
Nope.
So you mentioned 87, 88.
Yeah.
When was the Riverport riot? Was that around 91?
That was 91. I remember because I was in college at Mizzou, 90 or 91.
Okay.
Because here's the funny part was I actually was offered a ticket to that show, and I lived in Columbia at the time because I was I was still in school. I just didn't have the money. I mean, it literally would have taken, I think it was like $30 or something.
Oh,
in the
wow.
90s, it was nothing. But I mean, hey,
you just
$30
didn't have it
for a college student.
Yeah, at the time
it was harder to go. That would have like cleaned me out for the week. And I really wanted to go. And I'm just like, I just can't do it. So I did not go to that show. And then I saw what happened the next day on the news. And weirdo me is like, I could have been there.
Oh.
I was so bummed.
You were bummed that you weren't in the middle of the riot.
I could have been there.
Oh, that's such a dumb college student mind thing to do.
I know. I'm like, oh, man.
I miss being part of the very dangerous event.
I'm in this stupid dorm, and I could have been there.
I know. I'm like, I could have
been in the middle of the riot.
Yeah, I think I want to say that was, I think 91.
I think it was 90.
I think it was 91.
Might have been 91.
It's shocking that we survived adolescence.
I know.
And those early adult years.
I know. And then it was funny because I was at the Guns N' Roses show at the Dome a few years ago, which was their first time back in St. Louis since all of that.
That's right. Yeah.
And they played for like 3 hours.
Oh, nice.
See,
they had to make it up.
It was obviously make good because I actually went to the show at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City a few months before that, so I saw him twice on that tour. I went over to Kansas City to see him, and then I saw him obviously here as well. And the show in Kansas City, it was a couple hours, but they played like an hour longer here. It was obviously an I'm sorry, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm sorry.
It really was a great show. It was fantastic,
man.
You know what's scary is that was 34 years ago.
Oh, geez.
If my math is correct, 91 to 2025.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yikes,
man.
Things in the 90s were a long time ago now. That hurts my heart.
I know. Sorry that I brought it up.
I could have been there.
Could have been a contender.
Oh, could have been a contender. Yeah, that's right. All right. Okay. So a few minutes left here. So let me follow up on, we're just talking with Susie Moore, who's at CPAC. And I would encourage you to follow her on social media, Smoozy Q on X or Twitter. And she's covering that. And then obviously RedState.com as well. But one of the things that there are things you see because, Trump is not a particularly ideological guy. He's not a particularly conservative guy.
Right.
Both in policy, politics, and also obviously in cultural stuff as well. But when he does buckle down on the conservative stuff, he wins bigly. So when he buckled down, for instance, saying this gender ideology, in his word, lunacy, massive win. And it was the wind in the sails of getting a lot of truly great things done. And I don't even mean just, we're going to defeat those weirdos. We're talking about actually pushing back and protecting young people just because Donald Trump took a hard line on that.
Right. And the way he did it was very much in line with the way conservatives conceived of the opposition to it. Right. It was like, no, this is, biological sex is the foundational idea of what it is to be a man and what it is to be a woman. We're going to rely on this as opposed to this socially constructed gender nonconformance nonsense. And this is how we're going to structure our government. Our government is going to look at reality, and this is it. And this is how we're going to respond.
We are going to look at reality and screw you for trying to force us to do otherwise.
Right.
And so that's very, very Trumpy, that screw you part of it.
Yeah,
which is what so many people love.
Yes.
But when he doubled down on, because conservatives, I mean, cultural conservatives, policy conservatives have been complaining about this and just getting the crap beaten out of them by the left and the media, and then also being abandoned by the wishy-washy middle.
Right. There was like, well, we got to go along to get along. There was quite a bit of the go along to get along wing of those of us on the right, because part of it is I don't want to throw any libertarians under the bus, but there was a part of the libertarian streak kind of the way it expressed itself on the right was very much this is how you can't tell anybody how they can live their life. It's like, that's true.
You can't tell any adults how.
You can't tell any adults how they want to live their life. First of all, is like let's make that clear. But also, when there is an externality, when now you start forcing me to use my dang pronouns, when you start forcing me to let you in, to agree to your delusion and let you into spaces that are traditionally female, that's when it isn't just a libertarian do as you like argument.
When kindergarten teachers and grade school teachers are being caught grooming, when they are being taught trying to counteract parents,
keep things secret from
them. When we saw all that. So when Trump gets and stays conservative, really good things happen. But then there's the other areas where I think the conservative movement is now at a crossroads saying, okay, what happens when he gets in bed with the left too much? What happens when he abandons conservative economics and free market principles? Because the minute you cross them, go, no, let's be conservative. You get hammered because it's like, we're winning.
Shut up.
All that matters is that we're winning. Okay, well, but we got principles that we're fighting for too. And there's a massive opportunity right now. So the conservative movement that was a massive part of him winning needs to also be a sort of guiding guidepost as well, and needs to not be afraid to not necessarily push back, but push back to the right. When things are going, for instance, the pick for the labor secretary, the right should be all over saying no, because I actually read an article this morning where the unions are like, okay, we need to convince some of our Democrats to vote for her. So that confirmation, if it happens, could happen because of Democrats. And so those are areas where somehow you got to be able to talk to Donald Trump and say, listen, among friends, this is what we need. And remember, you're the leader, but you're supposed to be a servant leader. And make sure that we got your back when you're fulfilling these promises.
Yes. A good friend will let you know when you're off track. And we have to be a good friend of Donald Trump.
And keep him, as far to the right as we possibly can do that, because I don't think he's inherently a conservative guy.
No.
I don't think he's ideological. I don't think he really cares, that much. He sees winning issues and he's very good at using them. And so we need to make the conservative cause and the conservative issues winning issues so that he champions them and win. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Got an interesting comment, by the way, from Wilma. On I think she's on Rumble. Conservatives have been running the show for quite some time. Hey, it's time to quit whining and let MAGA clean house. Well, okay, quit minimalizing what MAGA's doing. It's only been 1 month.
Well, it's been 6 years. I mean,
when Trump got elected, yes, that was the start of MAGA. But
that's the thing, though. MAGA and conservative are not the same thing. I'm a conservative.
We should talk a little bit more about the big tent versus conservative thing, because I think that there's some important lessons. I think both sides of this discussion need to kind of come together.
And also, those 4 years back then, from 16 to 20, were different than what we're doing now.
And now he's more disciplined.
Yes,
and he's knows what he's doing more, because the first term, there was a mess in some.
Yeah, he was a New York kid. Going to DC, and then, like he said so many times, I had no familiarity with the city at all.
He was a Brooklyn brawler, his first time around. So no, I mean, I won't stop whining. I think this is when the conservative movement needs to really stand up and say, hey, let's work together to keep moving the country in a right direction, but we shouldn't be abandoning any conservative principles. So thank you for being a part of the show and the conversation. That's the discussion I want to have, but no, I'm not shutting up.
Well, I think a lot of MAGA folks are saying, hey, this is our turn now.
Yeah. And that's the thing, though.
For 4 years.
They're saying it's our turn, and they're basically telling conservatives, sit down, shut up, and get on board, instead of, saying, yes, we're going to move this in a conservative way. It's our populist way right now. And that's my concern. That's what I worry about. So I'm going to get myself in a lot of trouble over the next, couple of years, because I'm not going to shut up about it.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Today into this weekend, the weather scales finally tip in our favor as a warming trend kicks into gear. But first, another frigid morning. Yep, sunny skies will help us jump, though, to a high of 28 this afternoon. That's 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. Let's keep it going, shall we? Lows in the teens tonight, but then up to 40 Saturday afternoon and mostly sunny. 53 on Sunday and 60 on Monday. From deep winter cold to a spring preview. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
I want you to know that McGuire Moving and Storage is silver certified, which means McGuire has a quality reputation helping older adults move local or long distance. And something else to know, Josh McGuire, president of McGuire Moving and Storage, is the only certified moving consultant in Missouri. I'll tell you, once you met Josh, you're going to know your move will be easy. And I fully endorse McGuire Moving and Storage. McGuireMoving.com.
Larry Connor's commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit VincentsJewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
Saturday, Hamas is to release 6 live hostages kidnapped in the October 2023 attack. Next week, Hamas is to release more bodies. Yesterday, Hamas released dead hostages, a mother, 2 children, plus the body of an 83-year-old man. Hamas claims it didn't kill any of them, blaming Israeli airstrikes. Forensics might prove if that's true, but it will not change the fact that they are dead. It will not change the fact that they would not have been in harm's way, except Hamas kidnapped them and then used them as shields against the Israeli forces. So now they are home. But the way they were delivered, thousands of masked and armed militants in Gaza clapping and cheering as the coffins were placed into Red Cross vehicles. They were celebrating the deaths of an old man, a young mother, and her babies. Celebrating. As a final insult, the coffins were all locked, and Hamas did not give the Israelis keys to the coffins. How black does your heart have to be?
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
My sponsor, Wellington Environmental, has helped thousands deal with hazardous materials. Hospitals, offices, schools, even homes. Here's something new. Wellington now offers dustless blasting. This is just like sandblasting, but without all the dust and emissions. Wellington uses everything from ground glass, walnuts, corn, even dry ice pellets. One university had Wellington remove their parking lot striping because dustless blasting is fast and it does not damage the concrete. So as a business or homeowner, I'm sure you could use this process. Industrial tanks, swimming pools, graffiti on buildings. And in fact, Wellington is blasting a Texaco station that will be revised as an historic building. Check the website for details and photos. WellingtonSTL.com. WellingtonSTL.com.
I'm so tired of my water smelling like rotten eggs, iron bound. It makes my clothes and home smell, and my sink and faucet look dirty. I'm calling Jones Air and Water Treatment for their solution to this pollution.
Jones Air and Water Treatment has a solution to your pollution. Call now for your free water analysis at 636-899-1040 and live with clean, great-tasting water. That's 636-899-1040 or joneswater.com on the web. Call us now.
Hey there, Chris Cooper here. Join me every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. on News Talk STL for a little fun with finance. We'll talk about taxes, the economy, finance, and most importantly, how to enjoy the lifestyle you deserve.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper. Sunday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Tune in on Sunday and visit serenitynowtax.com for your free copy of my book, The New Holistic Retirement. That's serenitynowtax.com.
Serenity now! This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion from the voices you know and trust. News Talk STL at 1019, 941, and newstalkstl.com. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
I would walk 10 miles on my hands and knees. Ain't no doubt about it, baby.
It's an underrated band. They should have been bigger.
Fabulous Thunderbirds.
Yeah. Stevie Ray Vaughan's brother on the guitar, Jimmy Vaughn.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if a lot of people realize that. Yeah. All right, 7:40. So kind of a touch and go. Let's wrap this up because boy, it started a firestorm on social media.
Well, yeah, I mean, and this is to me is kind of typical of the discussion. But here's my contention, and I kind of stand betwixt the conservative and the MAGA movement. Because I see the value in both. Now, the conservative movement failed to sell conservatism very well.
I agree with that. The conservative movement fell short and lost its spine many times.
Many times.
Absolutely.
And there were many people who were conservatives who very much kind of fell into the way of the machine. And when you look at the record, a lot of people can say, and it's hard to argue, like, well, what did you actually conserve? Because we've been moving to the left for decades, right? So that's a valid criticism of the conservative movement in practice. Now,
one that I've made over the years.
Ideologically speaking, though, the conservative movement holds all the proper cards. They have ideologically, the conservative movement is the basis for the normal that we all want to get to.
Right.
The MAGA movement showed us how to fight.
Okay, that's fair.
And the MAGA movement showed us how to win with a big tent. Big tent, though,
let's touch on that.
Has its negatives that the conservative movement is necessary in order to mitigate. Now, because what big tent,
explain what you mean by
because what big tent conservatism, what any big tent does is it says, okay, here's the circle, here's the main circle, and for us on the right, that should be conservative ideology. And then here are the other circles that touch our circle or cross our circle in a lot of good ways, and that includes your Tulsi Gabbard sort of people who are okay with having a conversation, a robust debate with conservatives, because for a while now the left was saying you can't talk to these people, you can't platform the right because they're evil, right? The conservative movement touches a lot of these elements that have, there's only so much crossover though. So what has to happen with the Big Ten is, one, you have to say, okay, you're welcome from an electoral standpoint to join us. But the other side of that is when it comes down to making decisions, the ideological circle in the middle is where we all have to agree.
Right.
When if you are part of the Big Tent and you have an outlier opinion on something, you don't get to push us in that direction.
Right. You're not going to move the window to the left.
You're not going to move the conservative main circle in the Venn diagram to the left so that we more closely align with you. Right. So that's the issue I think that a lot of us conservatives have right now with the direction it seems to be moving. The Big Tent came and we're all excited about it, but there seems to be this trend to buck the idea that, okay, all of you have to get on board with conservative ideology being supreme in this tent. We're the big pole. Right. We're the big pole in the tent holding it up.
Yeah. And what we've seen, and the thing is, it's funny is with that same big tent mindset, when someone goes, hey, wait a minute, let's have a conversation about making conservatism and free markets. Those are the people who get told, sit down and shut up, which is kind of what's happening like on Rumble right now.
And there's the problem. It's like, yes, you showed us how to win. Yes, you showed us how to fight. Those are all good things. We accept those lessons.
Right.
But the ideological center of the Republican Party needs to be conservatism.
Right.
And when we say no, come back over here, it's not a suggestion.
Yeah, let me put it this way: is not a big secret. Not that those of us in Missouri had any say in the nominee. That was decided long before the primaries and caucuses got to Missouri, or the caucuses got to Missouri rather this year. But I was a DeSantis guy.
Right.
DeSantis lines up more closely with my outlook policy wise than any of the other candidates. But I'm telling you right now, Ron DeSantis would not have been able to get done what's been done in the past 4 weeks. Not even close. Even though he agrees on all the big things on like immigration and shutting down the border, DeSantis would not have had the level of success we're seeing right now. And that was my preferred candidate. But
right.
I will look. I was actually having lunch with a friend yesterday who also, very conservative, not necessarily a Trump guy. And he says, but you can't argue with the success that's happening on this and this and this and this and this. There are things that I wish, I disagree with Trump on. And there still are. And there are things I think we should be pushing back on.
Yeah.
As well, because there are things that are more important than any one office holder on this. But if we're going to be intellectually honest, I've got to say the guy that I wanted to see would not have been able to do what's been done.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, Ron DeSantis has been the most successful conservative governor,
without a doubt,
almost in conservative governorship history. If you look at all the things that he's managed to do now, in terms of his ability to put together a national coalition, this big tent Republican Party that we see, I don't think he would have been able to accomplish the same thing. But that's just kind of the reality.
Yeah.
I still want, though, the DeSantis understanding of the issues to pervade the Republican Party.
Yeah, Amy has a great point here. She says conservative politicians tend to be pathologically polite. Democratic politicians just run them over and control the narrative. Trump plays by his own rules, not theirs. I think that's fair to say.
That's very fair to
I
say.
think that's fair to say.
And I think that's the thing. We're trying to Frankenstein a successful political movement here, and we've managed kind of to do it right now. But we need to keep that Frankenstein monster under control.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And the way to do that is to have a solid ideological base. If we rest on this, I dare to say, cult of personality on some level, or on a rampant populism where it's like, okay, well, whatever the people decide must be the thing. That's not going to lead to the eventual victories that we want. That's just going to lead to a different sort of not normal for America.
So we've got a massive amount of momentum right now.
Yes.
Where do we drive that momentum? And that's why the discussion is important.
Right.
But I think I would say, like on Rumble, the majority of people are not in full agreement with me.
Sure.
That's okay. Now, one I invited to leave because she just was lying, claiming I said things that I've never said at all. And so didn't like my language when I said that's BS on there, period.
Well, I don't know. I saw that lady's comment and I seem to remember you saying that particular phrase.
Name a time, name what I said. I have never said that. That's a lie, Stell. That's a lie.
2 days ago when
What
you
did I
blew up
say?
at me.
No, I did not.
Well, you said MAGA morons.
I did not say
Okay,
that. Let's go back to that. That is an absolute lie, and I don't appreciate it at all. That's a lie.
We'll check
I did not say that.
And I'll apologize
Listen,
if you didn't.
Let's do that because I will expect that on Monday.
Okay.
Because I did not say that. Period. And I won't tolerate that.
All right.
That's the end of that discussion.
All right. I disagree.
Yes. I mean, I know that's funny.
No,
for a lot of
I'm
people,
serious though.
But what you just accused me of insulting a massive part of our audience was something I've never actually said on a show that bears my name. And I don't appreciate that.
I'm saying that I believe you did. So we'll check the tape and we'll see. That's fine.
Absolutely, we will.
That's fine.
All right. We've got Not Today coming up. Not Today Satan coming up. So let's actually decompress here just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I would walk 10 miles on my hands and knees. Ain't no doubt about it, baby, it's you I aim to please. I'm wrestle with a lion and the grizzly bear. It's my life, baby, but I don't care. Ain't that tough enough? Ain't that tough enough? Ain't that tough enough? Ain't that tough enough? Oh, you baby, I would swim the sea. Nothing I do for you that's too tough for me. Put out a burning building with a shovel and dirt, and not even worry about getting hurt. Ain't that tough enough? Ain't that tough enough? Ain't that tough enough? Ain't that tough enough?
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
It's time to raise a little hell. The Ozark Mountain Daredevils. Saturday, March 1st, the Family Arena. With special guests, Molly Hatchet and the Georgia Satellites. This is the farewell tour of the Ozark Mountain Daredevils.
And keep your hands to yourself.
Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office, located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.
Clint Black in concert.
This killing time.
Clint Black, an incredible night featuring some of his greatest hits. Saturday, April 12th, 7 p.m., the Family Arena. Clint Black in concert. Special guests Ruby Lee and Emily Ann Roberts. On sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Don't miss Clint Black.
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Myella Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the support of generous Missouri taxpayers. If you're a Missouri taxpayer interested in redirecting your tax dollars and sending them to Missouri students in need of a better education, please contact me at herzogmostscholars.org.
Better education for students creates a better tomorrow for all. Learn how you can help provide a better education for Missouri students at herzogmostscholars.org. That's herzogmostscholars.org. Also, sign up for The Lion, an initiative of the Herzog Foundation that carries articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture. herzogfoundation.com. That's herzogfoundation.com.
If an emergency happened tomorrow, would you truly be prepared? Most Americans aren't. My Patriot Supply, America's most trusted name in emergency preparedness, is offering a special discount on their 3-month emergency food kit. Each kit provides over 2,000 calories daily for 90 days. These aren't typical survival rations. My Patriot Supply provides delicious meals and extras, including chicken, beef, real meat, fruits, and veggies. Being prepared is a state of mind. Take advantage of this special discount to secure your family's future now. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. If you order by 3 p.m., your order will ship within the same day, so you'll be prepared in no time. That's mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where the beat?
It's Flashback Friday.
Definitely a trend here.
Definitely. Another solid good pick there. Yeah. Trending hard with, with the songs.
It is this week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's funny because the requests come from all over the place. So it's kind of funny to see how they go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We've got to get to an information segment in just a little bit, but 7:53 right now on a Friday. You know what that means?
It's the weird, the wacky, and the worrisome. These are the stories that make you say.
Look on the devil.
Oh, hell no. This can't be happening, man. This ain't happening.
Devil.
There's only way to be sure.
Today, Satan, not today. Amen.
A New Hampshire grocery store found an unexpected guest among their bananas, a venomous snake.
Oh.
No, God, please, no. No. No!
Now, it was a lone ornate cat eye snake, which is mildly venomous species native to Ecuador. It hitchhiked its way to the colder climates of the Northeast in New Hampshire on an unexpected vacation.
Did you say New Hampshire?
Yes, this is New Hampshire, a New Hampshire grocery store.
My mom lives in New Hampshire.
Yeah. Hopefully, this isn't her grocery store.
Yeah.
Now, the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department wrote on Facebook that its conservation officers responded to a call at a grocery store reporting a reptile sighting in a shipment of bananas. So conceivably, this never made it out onto the shelves. This was kind of a crate of it or something like that. And they saw the snake there. There's a picture of it kind of curled up near the bottom of this container. So the snake was safely recovered and rehoused with the Rainforest Reptile Shows in Massachusetts.
Hopefully behind very thick glass.
Behind very, very thick glass. Yes, that's one thing you don't want among your bananas, along with those weird spiders. Yikes. All right, now in our second story here, a 24-year-old kayaker in Chile was briefly swallowed by a humpback whale.
I saw this.
The Pinocchio Noah. Just constantly some gigantic
Jonah.
Jonah. Sorry, not Noah. Gigantic fish thing is going to swallow somebody, apparently. Adrian Samancas James, a computer technician originally from Venezuela, was kayaking with his father in Punta Arenas, Chile, when he felt an impact on his back that knocked him out of his inflatable kayak. So you're in an not just a kayak, an inflatable kayak, and then a whale knocks you into the water and then tries to eat you. So his father, Maydell, captured video as his son briefly vanished into the mouth of the humpback whale. I could not imagine recording my child being eaten by a gigantic sea monster.
No, and much less explaining it to the missus when you get home. Where's Junior?
Well, see, what had happened was James said he wasn't sure of what was happening until the whale spit him back out into the water. So it went dark. Things felt moist. and then I found myself back in the water.
He didn't taste good even.
No, I didn't taste good. Now, okay, so just to be clear, humpback whales can grow up to be about 48 tons, but they normally pose no danger to humans, at least in terms of eating them. They have narrow throats, which prevent them from completely swallowing humans and other similar sized animals, because they eat very small things.
So just a nibble.
Just a little nibble, just a little taste. Now, in our last story here, for a little while there, I did some house flipping and rentals, and I can tell you that the most nerve-wracking part was wondering what's waiting inside a vacant property. In this case, a Reddit poster shared a video of a vacant house with thousands of scorpions.
Well, isn't that special?
The origin of the video or where it was recorded is unclear, but due to the apparent Portuguese accent of the person narrating, some assumed that the video was recorded in Brazil and that they were Brazilian yellow scorpions. So the house was described as abandoned, at least in terms of humans living there. But the video clearly shows a nest of thousands upon thousands of the most venomous scorpions in South America, completely covering the floor and each other. So just piles of them.
Fire.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because putting these things together, I've seen some pretty bad infestation stories. Ants and rats and termites and all kinds of things. We've discussed them. Other creepy crawlies. And when it comes to every single one, I'm burning the house down.
No kidding.
And while I watch the flames, you know what I'm saying.
Look on the devil.
Oh, hell no. This can't be happening, man. This ain't happening.
Devil.
There's only way to be sure.
Today, Satan, not today. Amen.
.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomas. The already fragile Gaza ceasefire takes another hit. One of the 4 bodies Hamas released to Israel yesterday was not that of an Israeli woman, the mother of 2 young children, as promised by Hamas. Prime Minister Netanyahu says this will not go unpunished.
In a statement, Netanyahu criticized the handover of the wrong remains as a cruel and malicious violation of the ceasefire agreement, which has halted fighting in the Gaza Strip. His statement said Hamas would pay the full price for the action.
Correspondent Lawrence Brooks. Elon Musk generates quite a buzz at CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference outside Washington.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
Wielding a chainsaw as he took the CPAC stage yesterday, Musk vowing to be unrelenting as he leads President Trump's drive to cut government waste, fraud, and abuse. Also at CPAC, Vice President Vance.
I think that what the president has tried to do is recognize that we have a historical mandate on a few issues. We have to secure the southern border, and thanks to his actions, border crossings are down well over 90%, and we're just getting started.
And the Trump agenda has advanced in the Senate.
After an all-night vote, Senate Republicans approved a budget framework pushing past Democratic objections. This is part of a broader effort in Congress that will eventually include legislation to extend some $4.5 trillion in tax breaks and other Trump priorities.
Correspondent Ed Donahue says a $340 billion budget bill that includes money for energy production, border security, and the U.S. military now heads to the House, and it faces an uncertain future in the lower house of Congress. Watching Wall Street this morning, ahead of the opening bell, Dow futures down 265 points, NASDAQ futures up 91. More on these stories at townhall.com.
A new president is sworn in. America's greatness is being restored. And there's breaking news every minute. Now, tens of millions of Americans are turning off Fox and CNN and tuning in to Newsmax for the breaking information they really need to know. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top news brands in America. Find it yourself on all major cable systems and on your TV or smartphone store. Just download the Newsmax app for free and start watching. You'll get great shows with Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and Carl Higbie, and more. Find out why millions of Americans have made the switch. Even President Trump says Newsmax is terrific, and he's watching. So make the switch to Newsmax. Check us out on cable and satellite TV or download the Newsmax app today. Watch us anytime, anywhere. Remember, Newsmax is real news.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Today into this weekend, the weather scales finally tip in our favor as a warming trend kicks into gear. But first, another frigid morning. Yep, sunny skies will help us jump, though, to a high of 28 this afternoon. That's 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. Let's keep it going, shall we? Lows in the teens tonight, but then up to 40 Saturday afternoon and mostly sunny. 53 on Sunday and 60 on Monday. From deep winter cold to a spring preview. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Springtime in St. Louis, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Mr. Rob Miller from Harvesttown Auto Body in St. Peters did. He called Rhino Shield. Rob, what was the thought process for going with Rhino Shield as a business owner?
My family's business is over 10,000 square feet, and it did not have the curb appeal I wanted.
Rob, tell everyone how the experience was with Rhino Shield from start to finish.
The process that I liked was when you came out, you gave me all of these options that would fit my building. Our building was really faded. I don't want to have to paint my building again. 25 years is a long time to not have to worry about the outside maintenance of your building as far as paint. That's a no-brainer. That's why Rhino Shield worked for me.
Are your neighbors jealous?
I would be if I was them.
Thanks, Rob. Now it's time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. Genius.
Don't hate, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Mike Ferguson.
It's a miracle we're not in prison.
Gabe Pfeiffer.
Are you kidding me?
Get up, get up. Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, get up. This is your cousin God.
It's Friday.
All right, Cash gets the gig. So Katie barred the door. That's the way to look at it right there.
So excited.
There is a new and a bizarre accusation against the St. Louis City Sheriff. I mean, the first one where the FBI is getting involved and looking, it's like, okay, maybe there was a misunderstanding.
Right.
Maybe they got to sort something out. This is crazy.
Yeah, and it's on tape.
Yeah.
As they say.
Yeah.
Not literal tape. We don't use tape
man.
anymore. We used tape in the 80s.
That's right. Kids, what tape means. You get the pencil and you spin it. All right. Have you thought of more descriptors for the hockey story here?
Not too many more.
Okay.
Just the couple I threw out earlier.
You got a couple of minutes to come up with that.
All right.
Because that hockey game didn't go the way we wanted, eh?
No.
All right. It is 8:06 right now. Let's dump some news on
I
it.
love it.
The morning news dump. Are you joking? Is this a joke? Listen, folks. The morning news dump.
Because that's the proper use of A.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, A is supposed to modify a statement to turn it into a question. A lot of people ask the question and then they say, A, that's false.
Right.
That's not how they do it.
No. But so basically I'm practically an honorary Canadian now.
I agree. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's it.
By adoption.
All right. All right. Here's an update to something that we talked about actually on Thursday's show with Tim Jones. The Missouri House approves the bill to put the St. Louis police back under state oversight. Now, that plan now heads to the state Senate, so it's halfway to the finish line. And Governor Mike Kehoe supports the proposal. So if it can get past the Senate and they don't play any games with it, then this has a good chance of being signed into law. So if approved, a 5-person board of commissioners, including one appointed by the governor, would oversee the department. Now, keep in mind that historically, because there's a lot of wailing and gnashing of the teeth in the city and City Hall and things like that, historically, St. Louis police has been under state oversight until voters gave the city a chance at local control. They voted on that in 2012, and the city took over in 2013, and it basically became an unmitigated disaster shortly after that.
Yeah, yeah, and it has not worked. That the experiment has failed.
And the experiment's a good way to put it. Experiment is the right way to put it because the city wanted local control. I think a lot of people are like, okay, local control. And the city was given local control and given the trust, and they failed.
Yes.
And there's no indication right now that things are going to get any better.
Yeah, exactly. And there was never, I think, a year within the period that they have had local control where you could say the governance over the police department was good.
Yeah, no. I mean, early on, things didn't change, but it just really started going bad within a few years there. All right, get the popcorn out, everybody. Things are about to get very interesting now that President Trump's pick to lead the FBI actually gets the gig.
The yeas are 51. The nays are 49. The confirmation is confirmed.
By a vote of 51 to 49, Patel was confirmed and inherits an agency in turmoil after what critics say was a weaponization of the FBI under President Biden. Patel, a noted Trump loyalist, is expected to demand accountability for any who violated the law in pursuit of Donald Trump or his supporters. He's also expected to reduce the FBI's footprint in D.C. and return to its traditional law enforcement role, tracking down criminals nationwide. Bob Agnew reporting.
And so 51. So that means there were a few Republicans who didn't go his way.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think the head scratcher was Mitch McConnell voting yes.
That is interesting.
That kind of
I didn't look at the
people by
rolls.
surprise.
Which Republicans voted no? Did you see? I did actually.
Susan
didn't look.
Collins and
Murkowski.
Murkowski.
Okay.
Yeah, the typicals, yeah.
The typical ones. And so somebody may say, well, he just made it by one vote. Well, not really, because if one other vote swapped, you got JD Vance right there.
Right. Yeah.
Who
JD
would've
Vance is
voted
going to come in with the tiebreaker, obviously. But yeah, I'm as excited. I'm going to say this again. I'm as excited for Kash Patel at the FBI as I was for Doge. And
that's saying something.
And you guys know my love for Doge and you know my desire for a T-shirt. So I'm wondering if they're going to have a a Doge Cash a conglomeration coordination T-shirt. I'd love it.
Did you see that Elon Musk was suggesting taking a percentage of all the savings and just like sending Americans checks to show how much it was?
Yeah, I heard there was like a 20% for the people, 20% for paying down debt,
right?
The existing debt, and then of course the rest would just kind of get rolled over into the budgetary savings.
Yeah. And Mike Johnson was at CPAC and he's like, no way, we're gonna pay down the credit card.
Okay, so the
whole point is to pay down the debt.
Now I could see the value though of basically it would be very similar to what the tax cuts did. It would be a little revitalization. It would be kind of a change to the spending capability, the capabilities of the electorate, and that might spur the type of growth and jumpstart the type of growth that could help get us out of the debt issue.
But I was looking forward to that $5,000.
They were talking $5,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
To me, that would be more like the stimulus.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Stimuli.
That's a good point. Yeah,
there were two of them. Was plural stimuli.
Yeah,
stimuluses.
Stimuli. Yeah,
stimuli. Which I think we're going to look back and go, that was not a good idea.
Well, that's true. Now, of course,
I like the idea of paying down the debt if they're disciplined enough to actually do that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the stimulus though was very much a let's spend directly out of the treasury money we don't have to give a shot in the arm of an economy that was already faltering and didn't have anywhere to go. It might be a different story if we're talking about restructuring a savings for an economy that's on its way up. That may have a different effect. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of the stimulus. I'd rather just don't take the taxes.
Just don't take the taxes. Yeah. Ultimately, yes, I would love it just to kind of get rid of this budget deficit that we've had for ages.
Yeah, the debt, exactly. All right, Attorney General Pam Bondi tripling down on securing the southern border, stopping the flow of illegals into the country. And remember, she's only been in office for 2 weeks now. So she was at the CPAC conference in Washington, D.C. Attorney General Bondi says she is serious about making sure sanctuary cities and sanctuary states stop protecting illegals. And here's part of her speech that she had to say there.
I sued Illinois first, Chicago, first day, and I gave a very strong warning. If you don't comply with the law, you're next. And guess who didn't listen? New York. Kathy Hochul got sued. They all got sued in New York. And if you don't follow the law, you're going to be next.
And Kathy Hochul says the lawsuits are publicity driven and she's not worried about it. And they're going to keep doing what they're doing, basically.
Publicity driven.
Publicity driven.
Whatever.
Yeah. So we'll see how that, because the lawsuit is you are failing. You're not even just failing to uphold the law. They're not suing them for not doing something. They're suing them for getting in the way of the feds enforcing the law.
Right.
That's a whole different thing. So we'll see what happens there. All right. Kentucky Republican Senator Mitch McConnell announcing, that he is not going to be seeking re-election next year. And that's going to be ending a decades-long tenure as a power broker in the Republican Party. He made that announcement on the Senate floor on Thursday, which happened to be his 83rd birthday. And of course, that follows a series of medical episodes, including he actually got hurt a couple times from just falls. And then times he just froze up.
Right.
Like in the middle of a sentence, just froze up. And here's part of what he had to say yesterday.
Regardless of the political storms that may wash over this chamber during the time I have remaining, I assure our colleagues that I will depart with great hope for the endurance of the Senate as an institution.
And McConnell, believe it or not, is the longest serving Senate party leader of either party in the U.S. history. And he stepped down. I can't believe it's been almost a year. Seems like it was less than that, but he actually stepped down as leader. And then, of course, John Thune was elected. That's been almost a year.
Now he's obviously in the midst of cognitive decline, the same way that we were watching with President Biden. So look, it's decent gander here. You know, it's like we can't keep propping up the same old dudes in Washington. So I'm glad he is removing himself, and we don't have to kind of come out against him.
I don't think anybody was really expecting him to run again. I mean, 83, and then for a 6-year term, I don't know that anybody really thought he was going to run again, but nobody was saying anything.
Not with those health issues.
Oh, yeah.
Freezing up like he did numerous times.
It was weird.
Yeah.
I mean, if it happened to your grandfather or your dad, you would be rushing them to the hospital.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And, and I'm having talked to him about, his career and his driver's license and all kinds of things.
Yep, exactly. All right. St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery is heard on audio leaving a deputy's job up to chance, literally up to a roll of the dice. This is bizarre.
It's so weird.
Former deputy Tony Kirchner, and he is running for alderman in St. Louis in this upcoming election for whatever that's worth. He recorded the conversation on January 22nd. Kirchner was asking about taking some leave after a death in his family, basically taking FMLA leave, and he recorded the discussion, and Sheriff Montgomery can be heard saying he'd leave the request up to a roll of the dice, actually had a pair of gold dice with him.
Literal roll of dice, not figurative.
Told Kirchner if he rolled a 7, which Kirchner did, apparently, he could take the leave, and if not, he'd leave the department. Kirchner says he was fired anyway, despite rolling the 7. And you can see the story. Yeah.
So
you
crazy.
can see the story, and you can hear the audio at KMOV.com. They've got the entire 45-minute discussion that Kirchner recorded. It's right there. You can listen to it for yourself.
I could not imagine going into my boss's office and he's like expecting me to play craps with my career.
Yeah, literally.
That's crazy.
Oh, man. All right. Let's come up with some more adjectives here just because it's fun.
Yes.
All right. I'll wait for the signal for you here. All right. The moose riding, flannel wearing, Nickelback listening,
Skidoo driving, toque wearing, gosh, what was the other one? I forget it now.
Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons donut eating.
There you go. Maple syrup chugging hockey team get their revenge on Team USA. Canada won the first Four Nations Face-Off Hockey Championship in Boston last night. Final score after overtime was 3-2. That win avenges Canada's loss to the U.S. that happened last Saturday, and also allows them to keep being a country, means that we're not going to invade and make them a state now. The NHL season resumes tomorrow, and the Blues are playing tomorrow. They're at home playing the Jets. Cardinals' first spring training game is also tomorrow. They play the Marlins. That is a 12:10 first pitch. I don't think that's on TV anywhere. I couldn't find anywhere on TV, but it's the first spring training game. It's not going to be worth watching anyway.
Yeah.
One steep path, no destination, making cold mind to fight your war. Stop it right now.
Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL.
Your indifference. Stop it right now.
Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Get up. Can't you hear the alarm? Get up. This is your cousin.
Chris Art's here, and after Becky and I leave church on Sunday, we head down the street to Capriotti's to grab a classic meatball sub. And of course, for dessert, I get a giant chocolate chip cookie. I love Capriotti's, and you will too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill.
Ackerman Toyota is #1 in sales for 2024. That is 2 years in a row. It's really no surprise. Ackerman has the largest customer lounge where you can relax, take your time choosing new or premium pre-owned. Ackerman at Hampton and 44. AckermanToyota.com. Thank you for making Ackerman Toyota #1 2 years in a row. AckermanToyota.com. Ackerman Toyota for life.
Hey, it's Susie Moore to tell you about Michael's Flooring. Michael's is known for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. Installing new flooring should be exciting, not a hassle you dread. Michaels has solved that, and their long list of happy repeat customers is proof. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl, ceramic tile, it doesn't matter. Michaels Flooring, with 3 locations, St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloored.com. That's igotfloored.com.
Metro Shooting Supplies is a gun enthusiast ultimate destination. With over 400 rental guns, you can try before you buy. Serving Metro St. Louis for over 20 years, we offer the largest selection of new, used, and consignment firearms. Buy a new gun and get a free $200 range membership located at Fifi and St. Charles Rock Road. Metro Shooting Supplies, where shooting meets expertise. Visit buylearnshoot.com.
When it comes to spending your tax dollars and teaching your kids, governments and school districts should be an open book. But in Missouri, that's not always the case. Recently, the Show Me Institute sent out a sunshine law request to school districts across the state, asking for information on whether certain topics are being taught. Specifically, a controversial one called critical race theory was included in the list. Many districts didn't respond. Some wanted to charge large fees to process the documents. Lee's Summit outside Kansas City wanted over $35,000. A rural district, Morgan County, wanted $15,000. The Sunshine Law does allow charging a reasonable fee for sending out information, but there's nothing reasonable about $35,000 or $15,000. These districts should want to be transparent about their curriculums. Taxpayers deserve to know what their kids are being taught. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed. Oh, yeah? Yeah, he's starting with the whoops. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
News, analysis, opinion.
It almost seems common sense, but, alas, common sense isn't so common these days.
News Talk STL. The 80s. Excellent. Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Hey, you! Get into my car. Yes, you! Get into my car.
And then Billy Ocean. So we've gone from Iron Maiden to Billy Ocean.
Now this change is different. Like this song is different than what we've been hearing throughout the morning. I mean, the other ones were pretty hard riffs, and this one is quite a bit different feel.
I love
to
Billy
it.
Ocean though.
Now, this is a good song. It's a fun song.
It's a great song. Yeah. Billy Ocean's kind of like a guilty pleasure of 80s music because I'm the hard rock guy, but I love Billy Ocean. Looking at some of the Rumble comments here, Goat Lady. I could pay off a lot with $5,000, but I would think it would be inflationary.
And
I think that's right.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Even though you can argue, but the money's already been taxed. But I think that's right, though.
Yeah, I think the thing is, any spending above what the federal government takes in is necessarily inflationary because it requires that we print more money than is currently in circulation due to taxation.
Yeah, Rizon agrees, says we don't need checks. We need debt paid down and the Fed. Yeah, no argument here on that. Let's see here. PMS 3105 responding to the news that Mitch McConnell is not running. By you. Oh, I can't read that one. Can't say that one.
Yeah.
And then they also go on to say, can St. Louis City not hire someone normal in any position within the city? Apparently, the answer is no, they cannot.
Oh, and now that's in reference to the story,
of the sheriff.
About the sheriff who carries around in his uniform a pair of golden dice that he uses to make important decisions.
Yeah,
about personnel or something.
Right.
I don't know. It's wild. That's a wild story.
And the whole thing with the checks. And Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, was speaking at CPAC yesterday, and he was asked about this because Elon Musk had suggested that some of the money that's recovered by Doge, they say, look, here's a let's just throw out a number, $1 billion.
Right.
That's being wasted on something that, and we're going to cut that off.
We fixed it.
You would take a certain percentage of that and we divvy that up among Americans and send them a check. He was talking like $5,000 check.
Yeah. And Virginia Cruder texted me and she said that the idea was for only tax paying Americans, by the way.
Right.
Which is different than what the stimulus did. Stimulus was kind of like an across the board, every American who has ever filed tax, as opposed to those of us who pay actually into the system, as opposed to, receive more than we pay.
Right. And that there were 2 rounds of $1,000 each, I think.
Something like that it was. Yeah.
A couple rounds of that. And it was inflationary.
Yeah.
There was one that happened under Trump, one happened under Biden, and both had an inflationary impact.
Yeah.
On there, which is entirely predictable.
Yes.
I agree with the speaker, and I agree with Goat Lady and Rizwan, and they're saying, no. If we find that, the whole point is we need to pay down that debt.
Yes. Yeah. I think that would have a greater effect, I think, on the budget than even rolling over the savings into the next budget year. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because currently, and I now correct me if I'm wrong, anybody out there who wants to fact check it, but I believe this is true. The interest on the national debt has risen to the number 2 spot as the most expensive line item in the federal budget.
God, somebody that we ran a soundbite from earlier this week, and I don't remember, said that.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's true. I think I saw those numbers, and that's a recent surpassing of the defense budget.
Yeah.
So it used to be entitlements is the number 1 line item, defense was number 2, interest was number 3, and then all the rest of the things down the line. And the interest has surpassed defense, which is the only constitutional duty that the current government actually has. Yes, seriously, it's crazy.
So here's the thing, though, is with all the work that the Doge is doing, exposing all of this, waste, fraud, abuse, everything that goes along with it. And we're celebrating them exposing that. And we're celebrating the fact that there have been hundreds of millions of dollars basically saved just by cancellations of programs where in the administration, they've wait a minute, we're doing what? We're canceling that.
Right.
Okay. The next step, Congress has to have the backbone to say, look at all of this. We must correspondingly reduce the actual dollars of spending. The Senate just moments ago, by the way, passed like $134 billion spending plan.
Oof.
And there's talk of actually increasing the debt limit by the Republicans.
Yeah.
To do this. So unless the corresponding part is actually cutting the spending, Doge can find all the waste, fraud, and abuse that you want, but it's not going to bring down inflation. It's not going to give us an opportunity to reduce taxes unless we do the entire fiscal house in order. And that means the Republicans, because I don't expect the Democrats to have a backbone to stop the spending. That means the Republicans have to follow through, and you can only rely on President Trump doing so much because he only has the power to do so much.
Right. The power of the purse is vested in Congress, right? So they're the ones who have to rein this back, and they have to do the uncomfortable thing of actually taking a freaking machete to the budget.
Yeah.
And look, the government takes in about $4 trillion in revenue a year. $4 trillion. And we're overspending that. That doesn't make any sense to me. It makes zero sense whatsoever that we went from 2014 is when we passed the 3 trillion mark, right? So we make $1 trillion more. I say we make. The federal government takes $1 trillion more than they did in 2014, and that's still not enough to feed that behemoth. It doesn't make any sort of sense.
And you hear folks saying constantly, well, it goes up $1 trillion every 100 days now.
Oh yeah, the deficit.
So that would be over $3 trillion.
The debt.
The debt. Yes.
The debt.
I'm sorry. Yes, the
debt. The debt does. Yeah. That's.
So okay, so
by the way, a lot of people, these numbers have gotten so big.
Yeah, people just their brains explode.
We think that they're just numbers and they're just graphics. At some point, and we've been saying this since the 80s, at some point, the weight of that does absolutely crush not just government, but it crushes economy and it crushes the private sector as well.
Yeah. Okay, so 2024 spending versus revenue. Here's an estimate. This is from some random website that I just kind of picked up here. But just to give you an example, 3.7 trillion in revenue, 4.8 trillion in spending. What? Like you said, Stel, we're spending $1 trillion more than what you take in is probably a problem.
Yeah.
And the CR bill is due. I believe the new one has to be passed by March 14th, I believe.
Yeah, the continuing resolution. Because we haven't passed an actual budget out of Congress in a decade or so.
Like 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
And we'll be stuck with the Biden administration numbers for another 6 months to a year.
Right, because those are the base. That's the baseline that they're talking about.
Right. Continuing resolutions don't change the baseline.
Correct.
That's a problem. Yeah. This is the one opportunity. I think this is going to be the one opportunity in the next 30 years that Congress has the backing of the American people to say, you know what, we're ready for the deep cuts. We're ready for these programs to go away. We're okay with it. If you tell us now the government is spending less than what it takes in and we're paying down the debt.
Do you know this week Rand Paul offered an amendment to require on this spending plan an actual cut, as in less money for spending, and it was voted down with like 80 votes.
See, that's the stuff. That's the stuff that bothers me. That's the stuff that bothers me. This is the one opportunity. I keep saying it, and I think this is absolutely true. A lot of these politicians are used to not wanting to touch these things because they think it's electoral suicide. They think, the people can't take, like, if I say I'm going to cut their favorite program, they're going to run ads against me saying that I hate children and all these other things. Right. But, well, you know what? Right now, people don't care about that stuff. You know, it's like they're going to be people are saying, you know what? I don't want to spend money on this. I don't want to spend money on this. It's like, you federal government has to have to live within your means the same way I do. Right. People are ready for this. They're screaming on TikTok about all the government spending. If you say we cut it, they're actually going to be happy.
Well, and the normal people are going to say, well, wait a minute, then take the money that you were spending on comic books in Peru. And fund your program with that. You have the money.
Right.
So right now, Republicans are in Congress are going to either do the work, or they're just going to continue to try to say, let Donald Trump write executive orders, and then we're going to campaign on that, saying, look what we did. Well, that's what he did. What are you going to do?
Right. Put some skin in the game.
You're going to have to do your part. Constitutionally, you have to do your part. We're going to get an update from Congressman Bob Onder on that on Monday, by the way. All right. You ever have those things that you see people write and people say, and you're just like, that phrase drives me nuts.
Oh, yeah.
There's a list.
Of course there is.
Yes. We'll talk about that just then.
For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com.
I'll be your non-stop lover. You know what you get. Your non-stop miracle. I'm your man. Get out of my dreams. Get into my car.
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Today into this weekend, the weather scales finally tip in our favor as a warming trend kicks into gear. But first, another frigid morning. Yep, sunny skies will help us jump, though, to a high of 28 this afternoon. That's 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. Let's keep it going, shall we? Lows in the teens tonight, but then up to 40 Saturday afternoon and mostly sunny. 53 on Sunday and 60 on Monday. From deep winter cold to a spring preview. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Shane.
Fox News commentary.
Some are hot and bothered over President Trump's Ukraine truth serum. I'm Tommy Lahren. My thoughts are next.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Trump ruffled some feathers this week after he put out a Truth Social post calling Ukrainian President Zelensky a dictator, among other things. I don't know if Zelensky qualifies as a dictator, but I share the president's frustration over this endless and expensive war, a war the U.S. has been largely bankrolling. Truth is, American taxpayers have been overly generous and our compassion is running out. We'd love to see Ukraine win its war against Russia and reclaim all of its territory, but the fact is that's unlikely to happen without billions more in funding and more direct help from the U.S. And we don't have the appetite for endless war. Also important to note, President Trump threatened to stop bankrolling Ukraine in perpetuity and called on Zelensky to make a deal. And now all of a sudden, other foreign leaders are stepping up to use their citizens' hard-earned money to fund Ukraine for a change. I gotta say, the art of the deal is working out nicely. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Bengal's restaurant offers an inviting atmosphere, neighborly service, and a vibrant happy hour scene, all in the heart of Warson Woods. From their kitchen to your plates, beloved comfort favorites like chicken parmesan and lasagna to steakhouse-style classics. Slide up to the vintage bar or hit the patio for happy hour specials every Tuesday through Friday. Bengal's Restaurant and Bar, 10017 Manchester Road. Check out the menu and reserve a table online at bengalsrestaurant.com.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
This is what's happening.
An American Airlines flight colliding with an Army helicopter.
They are working diligently in very dark and cold conditions.
Congress is going to have a lot of questions. 1019 and 94.1.
Number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL. The 80s.
Bueller.
The 80s.
Let's go while we're young.
Never been a decade like it.
Shall we play a game?
Never will be.
Where are the dates?
It's Flashback Friday.
It's a deep cut from Mr. Mister.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is It Love from back in the mid-'80s.
Wow, I'd forgotten about this song. Mr. Mister had quite a moment there for a little bit. They were really popular.
Yeah.
I forgot about this song.
Okay, so
I say I love you. I hold you in me.
So as we move into the weekend, we're kind of getting more into sort of a dance pop feel.
There you go.
You know, we had a hard morning.
That's true.
Right? It's a hard rock morning. Yep. And now we're getting a little loose with it.
Yeah. All right. There was an interesting question asked on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was. I'm going to get to that in just a second here. Interesting follow-up here to like the Doge and the exposure of all the. Yeah. Let's see here. It says here, Doge is going to expose more people on the right that are taking advantage of the American citizen. I have no doubt that's probably true.
Oh, they're definitely.
It's not just the left that's doing that.
No,
because now like Stacey Abrams is in the news because it turns out that she got a crap ton of money for nobody really knows why.
Couple billion.
Yeah, with a B.
Mm-hmm. Oh, geez.
So at some point they're going to find there are grifters on the right too.
Absolutely. Well, the thing is, you know, we keep talking about the uniparty machine, right? You know, the Republicans, they go in there with all their principles, you know, and making $60,000 a year, and all of a sudden they show up as millionaires and they haven't passed any conservative legislation in a while. Right. There's a reason for that.
Oh, man. All right. So much to keep track of here. All right. It's 8:38 right now. So somebody on Reddit asked this question, and some of these really jumped out at me.
Okay.
And you may have some different ones to add to the list here. They said that someone asked, what statement makes you roll your eyes immediately? Or if you're young enough to say, what when people say or write this, it's cringe AF.
Oh, cringe AF.
The things people say, just those little phrases that that just make you go, come on.
Okay. Now, I have some partisan answers, but I imagine this is more neutral.
This is more like everyday life on this.
All right.
For instance, there was one person who said, anytime you start a statement with, yeah, no.
Really?
Yeah.
that was a yeah, no.
Okay. So some of the others, and this may jog your thoughts as to some of these that jump out at you. One of them is, everything happens for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That one can be very cringe inducing, especially given some of the circumstances people have used those sorts of phrases to essentially dismiss your trauma.
Right.
It's like, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, really? It had nothing to do with my own decisions.
Yeah. So let me say this about that.
Yeah.
That's one of the phrases.
What you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
That's another phrase. That's another phrase. You're right. It's like,
well, let me say this about
that.
Oh, man. So along those lines, number 15 on the list, I probably shouldn't say this, but and see my habit. And I heard this on, I think it was the West Wing or something. Somebody went, I probably shouldn't say this. And then Martin Sheen's character, the president, he goes, you got time to stop yourself.
Then don't.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
There's still time. But yeah, you get that when people say, I probably shouldn't say this.
Yeah.
It's a really a good time, friend or foe, like to go, then think
about it. Now, of course, sometimes the point of saying that phrase is to soften the coming blow.
Yeah.
It's like, I promise. It's like, basically, it's a brace yourself.
Right.
I'm coming in hot.
See, and to me, it's better just to say, all right, listen, brace yourself. You're not going to like this.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right.
I probably shouldn't say this.
I probably shouldn't say this. Yeah. It's a little more passive.
Now,
way of saying
similarly
that.
here, number 14 on the list. I'm not racist, but
oh boy.
Listen, I'm not racist. I just think that.
Insert racist thing about various groups.
And the funny part is, where you never hear that phrase?
Where is that?
When you've got like groups of friends or coworkers who are just like organically a little bit of everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But you also know where you hear the most politically incorrect and offensive things said. That same group of people.
Yes. Yes. My friend group in high school was basically like, I referred to them as the UN.
There you go.
Because we literally had people from various countries, and we said some dank stuff.
A couple of my baseball teams, the left would say, "Look how diverse," and I'm like, "You don't want to hear.
You don't want to hear us having a conversation."
We get a couple of drinks deep in after the game at Cyberg's or the Poster. You do not want to be around lefties,
particularly a male group.
Oh yeah, and not everybody's conservative in the group.
You're right. Yeah,
just saying is that guys become guys at that point.
Yep.
Okay, here's another one that this has driven me nuts for probably 25 years. But here's the thing is, like, people will say it out loud, but it drove me nuts back when I used to religiously go look every day at the letters to the editor in the newspaper.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if they still do those.
Yeah, I don't.
Do they still do those?
No, because you just have comments on the stories now.
Right. But in the they would do the letters to the editors, and somebody would qualify themselves as a mother, as a teacher, what, and then they would state their opinion. I'm like,
yeah,
that's such a lazy way to speak and write.
Nine times out of 10, it's very much an attempt to garner a level of expertise, credibility that you're what you're about to say doesn't warrant.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. But it's like, basically, okay, because I have this qualification, you should listen to what I say.
Right.
Well, then go ahead and state your qualification. Just don't. That is such a lazy way. As a I mean, what am I to do? As a middle-aged white male,
as a and
as a Cardinals fan,
and of course the tendency is to use some sort of identity thing.
Yes,
and I think that's probably why it's gotten onto this.
Right.
If you're saying as a insert profession,
right,
we're all kind of generally okay with those. I think as it's veered into the identity stuff, then that's when it's gotten really cringe.
But it's the way you say it. If somebody comes in and say, listen, I've got an advanced degree in nursing. Here's how I see this.
Right.
You're probably going to go, oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Yeah. Now, if you're talking about a health thing, yes.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
If you're talking about my motor and my like, I'm going to defer to the mechanic. I'm sorry.
Okay. So how about this one? Now this, I don't know, maybe Reddit has got some folks on the left there. They say the thing, one of the things that makes them roll their eyes is when somebody says woke. That's woke.
Okay.
So basically us using a pejorative against somebody else going, you're just woke.
Well, if you look at the demographics of Reddit, that makes sense.
Does it?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Because Reddit is super woke.
There you go.
It is.
There you go.
It is.
But that's funny because that was number 12.
As a black man, I can say that. Let me say this about that.
That's right. Number 11 is that triggers me.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I was asked to read a book and it keeps talking about triggers.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to throw the book through the window every time I see it.
Yes.
Because I think that is so stupid.
It's overused. I think that's the thing, because the concept is there's something that evokes a certain response out of someone based on history, knowledge, trauma, or what have you. And they've used they've used this word trigger, and it's become a pejorative because of the way it's been used by sociologists and I think in culture recently.
Yeah, because it's basically saying, well, you don't have any control over how you react.
Yeah, that's another part of it. It's like, I have an uncontrollable reaction to that, and it's your fault that I feel this way.
Right. Yes.
That's usually how it goes.
I think that's why, because I mean, when that first came around, I think people took that seriously for about a minute and a half.
Oh yeah, the trigger warnings in front of old movies.
And
It's like,
but then quickly we're like, come on. That triggers me.
They had a trigger warning in front of the Disney Peter Pan movie because of insensitive stereotypes of various, like because of Native girls and things like, yeah, there's all kinds of fun things we're given trigger warnings.
Didn't they make an announcement recently, maybe a week or two ago, that they had taken some of those off?
Yes, Disney's clawing back a little bit, but I still don't trust you, Disney.
No,
but I appreciate the effort.
Okay, so here's one from, I believe, Oprah Winfrey that's lived on that people now say they're really annoyed by.
Okay.
My truth.
Oh, yes. I'm glad even the lefty woke morons on Reddit recognize that your truth is a stupid phrase.
My truth.
I thought you were going to say a car for you, a car for you, a car for you, a car for you.
If she walks in and says a car for me and you, I'm okay with that. I'm good with that.
A trigger for you, a trigger for you.
Here was an interesting one, I thought. Number 6, when people bring up astrology and inject that into.
Yes.
Because there are people, I know people who, focus and trust astrology.
They live by it.
I generally don't spend a lot of time with those people, but I know some of them.
Oh yeah.
But apparently that was one of the top things that annoy people is when you reference astrology like in a real world discussion.
Oh yeah. It very much because of the various identity crises that our young people have been going through, our society has been going through. A lot of people have decided to put their identity in their astrological sign, and therefore the way they approach relationships, the way they discuss things, are all rooted in that. It's like, well, I'm a Sagittarius, so I don't really do well in X sort of situation, and I don't really get along with Leos, and you hear all that kind of discussion. That's where that comes from, because that has been very pervasive in recent times.
And remember the days with Nancy Reagan, and she was setting up Ronald's schedule by whatever astrological stuff was going on.
That's right. That really happened.
That was one of the early things about it. Yep.
And I remember before I was married, going on some dates, and like the date, if the date asked about an astrological sign, I knew that was the last date. That was not going to happen.
Yes, it is a red flag.
Here's another one. I love this one. Number 3. I'm kind of skipping up a little bit. I've done my research.
Oh,
you know what that means in 2025?
They haven't.
No, it means I saw a meme on social media.
It means I have seen all of the various confirmation biased sources that I trust that have told me that the thing I think is right.
This underground show on YouTube told me so. That's what that means. They haven't actually done.
I've got a whole podcast.
They did a Google search is what they did.
I could read Wikipedia.
That's true. How about this one? Alpha male.
Oh yeah,
because there were a lot of guys that were like declaring themselves alpha male, which usually means you're not an alpha male.
Yeah, if you got to declare any of that, if you put alpha and then anything,
yeah,
and you're making the declaration, no, that's not you.
Because I don't know if that necessarily annoys me. I kind of snicker and laugh at it.
Yeah,
because the guy's like, man, I'm the alpha man, and I'm like,
no, you're not.
If you're declaring it, you're probably not.
Yeah. Generally speaking, if you are kind of a top dog, in certain realms, people recognize that stuff. Yeah.
All right. And the number one, and it's just a category, corporate jargon.
Oh, any corporate jargon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We need to realign our our synergy
was on the list.
Capabilities.
Yep.
To leverage our competencies in order to progress our I don't know.
Circle back.
Oh gosh, don't circle back.
Yeah. Yeah, or let's drill down and do a deep dive into the core metrics before we reinvent the wheel on our verbiage.
Oh no!
Oh,
all of it. Yes, die in a fire.
Anything to add to that? Let me know. I would say call us, but I don't know. I think we've got the phones.
Are the phones back? I don't know.
I think
they are.
Yeah, I think so. So you can test it 314-912-1019 or send us a note on social media. It is 8:49 here on 1019-94.1 News Talk STL.
I say I love you, I hold you in me. You say I scare you, well that's your fear. I know the message my heart is sending, but you don't read it, you keep me guessing. Is it love or laughter? Is it love, is it love? The broken record goes round and round.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL.
I'm underwater in overdrive.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
What's on your mind? Is it love or laughter? Why don't you tell me? Is it love, is it love?
Hi, Sean Long from STL Fenceworks. A new fence or deck is an investment in your home and your lifestyle. But how do you ensure that you're getting the most out of that investment? At STL Fenceworks, we know the key is satisfaction. Satisfaction means getting a fence or deck that not only meets your needs, but exceeds your expectations. Satisfaction means working with a team that cares about your project as much as you do. Satisfaction means having confidence in the quality of your new fence or deck, knowing that it was built with the best of materials and workmanship. STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is our passion. And for me, satisfaction is knowing that providing for your family is how I provide for mine. Visit stlfenceworks.com and experience the satisfaction in making your backyard dreams into a reality.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-797-0711. 800-797-0711. 800-797-0711. That's 800-797-0711.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Margaret Brennan from CBS News says that free speech was weaponized by the Nazis. I don't think so. We'll talk to Susie Moore from RedState.com all about that Friday at 10:05.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. The 80s.
Excellent.
Never been a decade like it. Never will be. It's Flashback Friday.
Man. Another hard rock band, just not the hard rock song.
Wrapping it up with Cinderella.
Wow. Man. There are some great covers of this song. You look up YouTube. Man, this has been an interesting Flashback Friday when it comes to the music.
Mm-hmm.
This song was huge in the 80s. Massive.
Yeah.
1988.
Yeah. My high school years.
All right, so we started out with the hard rock morning.
That's right.
We went a little poppy dance music a little bit, and now we're bringing it down. This is the couple skate.
That's right. Man.
Yeah.
Cinderella.
Yep. On the way out.
Tom Kiefer, Cinderella doesn't tour, but Tom Kiefer does. He was just over at Family Arena because I was there. I was at that show. I don't know, 2 years ago, something like that. So Tom Kiefer and his band, they did all the Cinderella stuff. But it's funny because with like the hard rock of the 80s, because we've had what, Iron Maiden, we've had Ozzy Osbourne, we had Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses. Who else do we have today?
Judas Priest.
Judas Priest, yeah.
Fabulous Thunderbirds, I wouldn't put in that.
Yeah, they're more blues rocky, you know.
And obviously the pop side with Billy Ocean and Mr.
Mr. But that rock side, it's funny.
Oh, Phil Collins too.
Oh,
Pop
right.
side.
Yeah. Well, can you really have anything in the 80s without Phil Collins?
Not really.
No.
I mean, because basically at one point, Phil Collins was every second or third song played on the radio.
And the other ones were Huey Lewis.
I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying that's the way it was.
Yeah.
But that style of rock just keeps coming back. Because there's been the other stuff, like the 90s grunge and all that it's kind of retro now, but like there's a whole crop of rock metal bands now that's this 80s style of rock, just for something about that style. I don't know if it's just a matter of people like, yeah, I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
I don't have to solve the world. I don't have to be angry, angry about the problems in the world for 90 minutes at a show.
Yeah, we don't have to discuss the world's problems or try to solve them. And then I don't have to bring up my personal grudges and issues with everybody. The 80s were fun.
Yes.
They were just fun.
And the funny part is that even with all of the there were societal problems.
Oh gosh, yeah, there was a lot going on.
But it seems like it was easier to get along with everybody when the pop culture was like, let's just have fun.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to wear really awful bright clothes. We're going to invent really weird dances.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then we're just going to, it was easier to get along.
Absolutely. I think the cultural touchstones were very much shared across many, many different avenues: music, movies, TV, sports. All those were the things we all rallied around, and nobody made them political.
No,
not really.
No, not really. And then came the 90s.
Yeah.
All right, Vic Porcelli coming away here. Just head on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL.
When you've got something to say, be heard loud and clear.
If they'll just do what they were voted in to do.
This party needs to get a backbone. They need to get some spine.
Join the conversation. St. Louis's place to talk.
The Democrats and the Republicans can give us all the lip service they want, but what they need to do is take action today.
101.9 and 94.1.
You know, you have to take a stand sometimes.
This is News Talk STL. News, analysis, and opinion.
Hi, I'm Helene Tobler, culinary nutritionist at Body of Health Direct Primary Care. Here we do practical wellness. Dr. Randy and I have a common sense approach to healthcare. My passion is helping our members enjoy better nutrition because food is medicine. We approach problems with a lifestyle foundation and cutting-edge medical tool chest. At Body of Health, it's about being your healthiest you. If you want to experience healthcare the way it ought to be, schedule a discovery call today at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
Attention.